be available.
I don't
I
need
know
it.
that jacket will fit you. Or
I
in case
don't
you
need it.
visit. Bless you. In case you visit.
I'll visit when it's warm. That's it. You keep that cold up there, man.
Nah,
That's not.
you,
That's
you,
not
you
me.
can't. That's not gonna work. What about Christmas?
Why would I go up there for Christmas? I'm a Jehovah's Witness.
Damn. Damn. We forgetting that.
It's okay. You can forget
Yeah, I
all you
don't
want.
celebrate Christmas at all. Damn. Thanksgiving.
Again, Native American.
Wait. I was gonna try to look at the heart. Bless you.
Shit.
Bless you.
What is going on?
Bless you. Sorry,
Whoa.
bless you. My
Whoa.
smoke is going through the camera. They
I know,
figured out how to
right?
make this the smoke go through the camera. What about President's Day and a real holiday? St. Patrick's Day. I mean, they're real. Easter. It's getting warm. Easter. All right. Yeah. Yeah, you got that. No holiday really for you to reason. No real reason to come up to the cold. Lucky.
There's no lucky. It's just I don't care.
Nah, lucky, because up here, it's really cold too. Like, I feel like how you feel right now. But that's how we feel all the time.
Hey,
We're like, what's going on?
this is just
Like,
allergies, though.
it was cold. Yeah, see, it was cold out here for no reason. Like yeah. So it got warm, 60s, then dropped like 35, 30, 6. And then so it's like, you're like, man, it's nice out. You're walking around in short sleeve shirts. Now you're like, it's cold. Why is it so cold?
We need to find a way
You
to
get a
share
lot of
your. We need to find a way to share your screen on here.
You know what? I was just thinking. I was just thinking about that of ways to do that, so that way, like, I can make like another desktop in case, so it would be easier. But what I am thinking is, take this one step further is, I need the because we have AI, we have everything available. I don't know if you're recording live, but anyways,
I am.
don't matter. Oh, don't matter. Well then, I could use AI for a lot of things. That's all. Doesn't matter. I could use AI,
I mean, you're
so
not
AI
wrong.
could do it.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, like we can even I can even edit this with AI too if we had to. Like I'll figure out a real time AI solution or something. We're getting there. We're gonna get there. Because
We'll get there
right now, I
eventually.
like what we're doing. Right now, what we're doing is we're figuring out the foundation, and then the foundation goes up from there.
Mm.
It goes up, up. Remember this, people. Remember
He
this.
said,
We're
"Remember
both
this."
wearing gray shirts or white gray shirts for a reason. Right now, we are in sync. We are in harmony.
But welcome to
He's
anyone out
Toyota. I'm
there.
Nissan.
Oh, of
I'm
course.
bankrupt. He's doing pretty good.
I'm always doing good. That makes sense. Always do.
Yeah, well,
Or at
I'm
least I
like
try to.
Nissan. I'm like Nissan. We make some good looking cars and stuff, but it might
And
not
then
last.
y'all fall flat on your face right after.
It might not last. But don't worry, we got some good performing cars once in a while. Like once in a while, the performance is great.
But then y'all fall flat on your face right after.
Yeah, literally. It's like fail, and then it's like it's quiet. It's like crickets. Crickets for years. That's
I
Nissan.
still don't understand that.
I understand it. They went bankrupt early on. They didn't want to show people that they were hurting. So they just like that's why they literally and that's one reason I respect them is because they made decent enough cars that were able to help them sustain for a while. Same like Toyota and same like Honda, where like they just built good platforms that lasted. All they had to do is really tweak it. You know what I mean? Change the headlights, give us a new model, change the interior so the ergonomics are better. But the car itself was pretty much the same. Like, it's basically front wheel drive, V6, you know what I mean? Decent power
Like, if
V6,
you want to
decent
show
fuel
us that
economy.
you're bankrupt, I get it, and you want to focus on building cars, I get it. But if you struggling and your business at the end of the day, so you gotta know when to take
Yeah,
flight.
you're right. Yeah, it's true.
That's
It's
the
true.
issue.
Uh-huh. They have to know when. And the thing is, they didn't. And what it's really because they had Carlos for the longest time, which I know we can't always blame everything on him, but
No, you can't.
it, uh, but most of it stemmed from him because in the '90s, Nissan was what doing pretty decent. They were a pretty decent
But
company,
he low key brought
and
back the GTR program.
he did. He low key brought back the GTR, and low key what he did do is he did save Nissan a lot of money. But while he saved them a lot of money, he ended up costing them more money in the long run
Hmm.
because now you like where he saved the companies kind of frivolous spending where they were just spending money on everything, even not really making money on cars, which is kind of crazy because they made some decent cars during the '90s, you know what I mean, '80s, '90s, that actually were pretty decent to compete with Toyota
Yeah,
and Honda.
they're more
Because
than
that's
decent.
really
They
who
were
they were trying to,
fantastic.
yeah, and that's who they were trying to compete with. It was to the point where they were got to sit in the same conversation, like in the same sentence with Toyota. So that's why a lot of Nissan people, especially older Nissan people, they're upset because back in the day, you would say Toyota,
Yeah,
Honda, Nissan, or Toyota, Nissan, Honda, like whatever order you'd want to say them. Obviously, I still want to say Toyota was always at the top because just the way Toyota's business structure, how they operated,
oh, of
it's
course,
just gangster. It's just
of
gangster.
course.
Like if you look at it, you look at it just beyond the American market, it's amazing. Like they show why they're the most dominant company.
They
Because
always
they show
will.
that they can build some of everything. They say, hey, you want power? We can build power, but we can build you reliability. We choose reliability. We can still give you power, but you know it comes with power. But we'll
Of
still
course,
give you reliability.
of course.
So so anyways, Nissan quality's falling off. Carlos came in. He saved them money by, cheapening their products. I guess I'm gonna call it cheapening, where I felt like the '90s interior quality was better than the early 2000s, meaning not design wise, but the
No, not
material
design wise.
itself. Material itself was much better in the '90s, early '90s, early 2000s than the late 2000 Nissans, and because like they got cheap. The designs got nicer, but they got cheap, like
They have,
ridiculously cheap, to
of
the
course.
point where it was like, like you know what I mean? Like you would have mistaken it for an American car, or like any other rental fleet spec car at the time, like a Mitsubishi Galant at the time, or like how like Dodge redid the neon, its interior, trying to make it look more corporate
Yeah, that was
and stuff
stupid.
like that. And so like just like all the cars at that time, a lot of them became very how do I call it, cookie cutter, cheap. Like they look like Fords. They all look like Ford and
He said
GM
they
cars
all look like
running
Fords.
around. They all look like Ford and GM cars. I hate to say it, like they just look cheap. And Chrysler did the same thing. Like the Chrysler 300M. I know we had that funny conversation where we're like, "Hey, 300M," but the 300M had a slightly better interior design language than the Chrysler 300C when it came out initially. It
I'll
was
agree. I'll
like
agree
the
to
300
disagree
was
on that one.
yeah, yeah, and I know what you mean because like it's like it was still like you know what I mean, but at least it was leather or softer looking materials than just hard plastic, and then some soft leather, fake leather, plastic leather. So, but yeah, started looking cheap. Their car qualities, I mean, their part quality was going down. They weren't lasting. Like I had so many friends that would have a Nissan, they'd always have like a sensor on for something stupid. And I mean, a lot of times on for your cats. I have a Nissan now. My light's been
Well,
on
you
for my
have an
cats
Infinity.
forever.
You have an Infinity.
So
You have the
okay.
American variant.
And I have the Americanized variant where it's
Yep.
literally Americanized, and my check engine light's on been on for my cats, which is nothing major or bad, not per se, but quality's going down. Like what I mean, starting to feel the transmission starting to say, "Hey, I'm tired." Like and it's starting to let me know, like, "Hey, no, no, I am tired," and I
He said,
understand
"Hold
why.
up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right."
Yep, I should never change the fluid, but I had no choice because the pan came off, fluid comes out. So maybe I should have repurposed some of that fluid. Maybe, maybe in retrospect, maybe that's what I should have done. I should have had them drain that fluid,
All the way.
put that fluid back in it, and then put that fluid right back in it. So then it would have still been thick fluid with, whatever contaminants that's have been in it from the clutch packs and stuff like that. So in retrospect, that's what I do look at. But it is what it is. So I have my issues now. But people will say that Nissan quality, Nissan Infinity quality has fallen, and it has. And they put CVTs in so many cars, hurt their reputation. They can
Of
never recover. They're
course.
never going to recover from that. Everywhere I go online, it's funny because people go, "Oh, is that a Nissan truck? I bet it has a CVT in it." And it's like, guys, Nissan trucks never had a CVT. I'm like, yo, Nissan trucks are actually pretty tough. And they're like, it probably has a CVT in it. Like, how's your CVT? And it's like, you know what I mean? Like, at
You're
first it
never
was
gonna
funny
win.
because yeah,
You're never gonna win.
exactly. And exactly, 'cause at first it was funny because yeah, it's like yeah, they did put that in everything. And it's like, yo, what were they thinking? But like, they didn't put it in like the other vehicles like Infinities or everything else. But then now today, like I don't know what they were like. I don't know what their team was smoking because Infinity was never supposed to be like a Nissan. But we have they had like two or three cars. They have the QX. They had the QX30, which was the joint venture between Mercedes, the A class, rebadged and redesigned, and that had a CVT in it. Oh, but
Okay.
it actually came with a dual clutch. It came with a dual clutch transmission. Sorry, let me put some respect on that car's name. That actually came with a dual clutch. The QX50 and the QX55, and I believe they're, I forget what other car they have, but the QX50 and the QX55 comes with a CVT, simulating 7-speed shifts.
Mm.
So just to make it feel like another one of their products, but it's basically a 2.0 variable compression turbo engine, which is, I'm not gonna lie, since I've actually driven one, it's interesting. It almost feels like a Jekyll and Hyde engine. Like, like at one point it's like soft. It's like okay, but then it has so much going on because it can adjust its compression on the fly. So it legit could go from 14 to something, I guess, to like 10 to 1 or something, or like nine, almost nine. So it's impressive. So when you get on the turbo, you can just feel the engine is like this. I hate to say this, like slight
This,
delay
yeah.
and then like a surge.
I was gonna
There's like a
say, I think
surge.
it's more of a surge type ordeal.
Yeah. So it's like you hit the gas, you're waiting because your mind is like, okay, I hit the gas. But then like a second later, the thing is like a surge of power. And it's kind of impressive. Like I can see how come they didn't have to scrap that engine yet and just keep selling it.
Mm.
But to me, it's still a ticking time bomb because I mean, if people who don't know how to maintain their engines, that's just another wear item on an engine that if someone isn't on top of their oil changes or on top of like, making sure they have their fluids in their car, it's gonna fail.
Of course.
But it makes good power. It makes good power, but it doesn't feel all that fast. Like for me, if I'm a simple person, I'd rather a Honda 2.0 turbo or a Volkswagen Audi 2.0 turbo because there's no extra stuff to go wrong. It's just motor, turbo.
That's it. Dunzo. Done deal.
Or now Toyota's new turbo four-cylinder that comes out. Because in my opinion, I can't. I think what it's supposed to be a 2.4. I thank Toyota for going that size, if it is, because the reason why everybody else has been doing 2.0 turbos. Everybody, or 1.8 or 1.5s,
Yeah.
and then I think at least Kia Hyundai was one of the only companies that when they first came out, I think they used the 2.4 or whatever four-cylinder that they had,
Mm.
and they made that a turbo until they realized they were blowing up, and that's why they like de-stroked and downsized. They were like literally like, "Hey guys, we got the 300 horsepower, 200." Well, I think what did they come out with 278 horsepower.
Yeah, something
That,
along the
that was
lines of
beating
that.
BMW, and that's beating people's numbers today in their four-cylinder class. Like they were ahead of the game. Yeah, they blew up, but they offered the best warranty, so you would drive your car and blow up. Hey, don't worry, we'll replace it. It's like you were getting a strung out four-cylinder from the factory with warranty, and they knew it, and they were like, you know what, cover it, just cover it. They're gonna drive the shit out of it.
He said, "F it, F it."
Yeah,
Well, that
quite
was a
impressive.
nice lengthy intro.
Mm, welcome.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the ICE Internal Combustion Engine Podcast. Ice, ice, ice.
Hmm.
Oh man, a lot to talk about. Nissan shit. You know what else you gotta do?
Yep. I was gonna be Nissan on the topic because you know, everybody wants to know what's going on with them.
That's because you're a diehard. You a diehard fan. At the end
But
of the day,
everybody wants to know.
you are a diehard fan. Not everyone else. It's mainly you, and the other diehard fans out there that love Nissan.
I think everybody's curious because it would be, let's just say, I don't, not that I want this to happen, but it'll be impressive. You know what I mean? If they were to, like, you know, bounce back from all this, because you know why? You know, who said that they were gonna make a plant just for the Nissan Rogue, which is, like, you know, one of their number one selling cars in the US. You know what I mean? And literally now, because of the tariffs, they're
Yeah.
probably going to make a U-turn on the plant, they say.
Oh, for sure.
But that's
There's
the
no way
problem.
that's gonna like fly through. Let's say no way.
And so now they shut down the Rogue production. We're gonna, like, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm I hate to say it, I'm here to see what's gonna happen if, like, basically now all of our favorite cars now are almost gonna become extinct. Like, it's gonna become almost retro-esque again. Like, we're gonna go backwards in time, like to like the 60s, 70s, where there's a whole bunch of American cars on the street, and there's only a few Japanese, German, and other cars. So when you have those cars, you know, you actually appreciate, value, cherish them. You're like, this is a different car, and that's why I'm wondering what's gonna happen. Because, like, now it's not just gonna be Nissan. It's gonna be, like, you know, Honda, Toyota, some models probably. You know what I mean? And then Hyundai, Kia for some models. Because, like, yeah, I know they make some models in the U.S., which is very impressive. But
Hmm.
now they're probably gonna say the other models, hey, you guys only get this car. Like, this is the only car we're gonna import to you guys. And I wouldn't be surprised if from a lot of manufacturers. We're only gonna see SUVs from, like, maybe Toyota's like, okay, here's the new Land Cruiser, because they should call the Land Cruiser Prado, but again, I digress.
I highly
Um,
doubt they will, but
that's what they should have called it, but I digress because now they got the GX. They moved the GX to, like, basically Land Cruiser status, where the
yes.
LX was basically Land Cruiser status. So that it confuses people. But anyways, so then I feel like they're only gonna sell, like, the GX, then maybe that new SUV that they plan on coming out with that's supposed to be like a FJ Cruiser replacement, but smaller, so like a more fuel efficient variant, which would be good because I feel like that's them capturing a market that they know people would like. Like, people want to, sorry, people want to off-road capable SUV, but they don't want to get a Wrangler that gets a V8 truck fuel economy, or like a Bronco, where, yeah, you get some
Well,
Ford
does it?
power, but
Well,
then,
now that Jeep Wrangler comes with the 2-liter turbo, that's in like that is similar
yeah,
to their Fiat Alpha Abarth counterpart. So
yeah, honestly, I know
you
that
can still you can
helps
get
because,
that type of fuel economy. To be honest, I mean,
which is better, which I was gonna say.
like how bad fuel economy is a 3.6? I can't remember the Pentastar motor.
Probably like
Was it like
what?
22?
Let's see, Jeep Wrangler 3.6, 18 city, 24 highway. That's 2018, 2025. Not bad, not bad,
So
not
what is it
bad.
combined?
Combined, 20.
Yeah, so yeah, 20. So I was off by 2 miles per gallon, but that's a lot. But
That's honestly, I have to say, that's much better
that's more than my
than I.
that's more than my Forerunner.
So now I'm just curious. You know what I mean? Because I'm curious. Because what a Ram 5.7, you know what I mean, gets. Okay, 2025. Oh, well, yeah, 2025. So 5.7 gets 20 city, 26 highway. There's no way.
That's because
That
that
has,
cylinder
that has to be.
deactivation, though, right?
No, sorry.
Or
Okay.
is that all eight
No,
cylinders
that you
firing?
know what that is? That's for that's for that's for the V6. The e-torque, the 5.7 e-torque gets 18 miles per gallon, 23 highway. So 18 city,
What
23
e-torque?
highway. So
They made a Hemi hybrid.
yep, yep,
Oh
they've had the
wow,
e-torque system. Yeah, they've had that
I've been
for, I
late
think,
to the
about
party, huh?
two.
Shit.
Yeah, I think they've had it for about 2, 3 years now. Some people like it, but it just makes it harder for them to tune. Um, Here's from my understanding how it works. There's a little stator inside, or basically somewhere, and it powers something inside of the. It generates power. It basically converts to power, and it generates it. And somewhere in the transmission, there's like a little motor or something attached to it, and then
Yeah,
basically it allows it to.
like most hybrid
Just
systems that are going towards that design nowadays.
yeah. Well, like I
But
like the Mercedes one.
but anywho, we gonna change it up for today's little discussion. Although we like to talk about automotive news, what's going on, especially with the likes of how Nissan's doing, Chrysler especially how they're doing, how they're holding up after that whole debacle with CEOs. Um, Toyota's entering back into the sports car game, etc., etc. Even the people over in Europe of Germany and Italy, what they're doing. We're gonna do something. We're gonna do something different. We're gonna change it up to a more, let's say, topic that is, let's say, relatable to a lot of people, a lot of enthusiasts, especially because people like to build shit. We see it on YouTube all the time. So we're gonna do top five YouTube builds, and then our top five builds that either we want to do or we want to see. More likely, it's gonna be we want to do. We going to which side of the topic you want to start off with first? The top five YouTube or top five builds?
Let's start with YouTube.
If we're gonna
I want to
start
start
with
with YouTube.
YouTube, we're gonna start with your end of things. Or we could do
Okay.
like, or we could do top five builds and what YouTube we're following inspired that type thing. We could also do that if you want, but it's up to you. We're gonna let you take over the reins.
Uh, I was gonna say top five favorite builds currently on YouTube right now. I want to say is you got the D-stroked BMW engine, and I believe the exact engine name is, and let's just
If it's
find
the
it.
N and S motors, I believe 4N Motorsports already does that.
Yes, and I want to get you the exact. It
Unless
is
you
a
have a different builder.
N55. So it's
N55?
4N. Yep, it's the 4N N55 R26. And the reason why that's one of my favorite
I
builds
seen it and
on
I heard it.
YouTube, yes, the sound is glorious. It sounds amazing.
It
It
sounds like the
sounds like
RB.
yes, it sounds like they literally freed up the motor, where the motor now can rev to the moon. The motor sounds like it just sounds free. It just sounds so happy. It sounds like it's getting all the air it wants in and getting it out as fast as possible. That's what it sounds like. And I'm like, that's how all motors should be. Like when you tap the gas, the motor should feel light. That motor should feel like it just wants to rev and hit red line as fast as possible and sit there and sing and stay. That's what a motor should sound like. So that's why that's been one of my favorite builds. What I do like is if you look into them, yeah, they offer a complete motor short block. I think it's like about $12,000.
Let
And
me pull
if
that
you
up real quick.
and if you want to do it yourself, they have you can buy the parts and then you just have to get your block machined by somebody to their specs. And if you do that, I think you can save a couple thousand. So like it might be like $6,000, but that means you have to source a block or make one.
hmm
So it might just be better for you to, in all honesty, just have them build it. You know it's going to be guaranteed. You get this nasty motor that basically it's one off because at first everybody was thinking, oh, can I just use my stock motor and get it to do this? No, you can get it to do something similar, but it's not going to be a 2.6 liter. You might get it to be like maybe a 2.9, 2.8 liter until you
No,
have to
I mean,
actually do some.
if you put like heavy engineering and R&D into it, you can make it happen. Like that's exactly what they did. They even built around it. They even built a turbo kit, like a
Mhm.
a Borg Warner single turbo kit, They built
Well,
every.
that's because they're a company. I mean, if you were like a home, someone at home, you know, someone at home trying to do it, like
Oh, I see
a
what you're saying.
garage build. But
Yeah,
like, if you have access to machining and doing all that, that's what I mean. Yes, you can make this happen. You can actually do this. But if you don't have like, just like yeah, like see that crank, everything.
yeah,
If you can source the material and you have the right network, please do this build. You will have fun with this motor if you have access to all of this. If you already have access to a machinist, that's your buddy. You have access to the raw materials. You know, it's like that song.
because they're
You
they're
know,
already going as far as doing a 2.4 liter and letting that sink to 11,000. It's
exact,
just crazy to
amazing,
see. Where
amazing,
is that?
amazing. That's definitely one of my one of my favorite builds because like when I see it, I'm like, oh wow, this is that's something different.
I hate how when you go on Google and search it up and let's say most of their posts are on Instagram, it's always blurry. You have to go to Instagram. I'm just not trying to
Yeah,
open it up. But you can
yep.
even see
I
the
know
stroke
exactly.
difference, even if it's
Yeah,
blurry.
yeah.
That much
Like
room,
just
that head could be a whole lot smaller.
nope,
I mean, the blocks are.
nope. A whole lot smaller. Definitely shrink it down.
Obviously, you can't really do that, but no, that thing. It's funny because I also have a YouTube build that I'm on the YouTube build, but a build that I'm following from Foreign Motorsports also. But
Hmm.
it's not the 2.6.
Okay,
It
okay.
is.
Interesting.
They are right now building the an S85, de-stroking it and doing higher compression. Their goal is
Really?
their goal is 13,000 RPM. And this is one of the pistons they've updated for it. They just released this actually, this design piston. They're gonna up the compression, I believe, to I think it's 12 and a half, 13 and a half, or somewhere around the lines of that. But they
Wow.
bought an engine. They bought a used engine. It had a spun rod bearing, so big whoop de whoop. BMWs. Um, they're gonna find a 335 chassis or like something like basically this chassis, the E92 chassis. They're gonna put the engine in the back and put a transverse style transmission in it, and basically build like a GT3. Like I don't know if you ever watched the DTM series back in the late 2000s with
Yo, they're building a real race car.
yeah, so the E90 chassis they built an M3 race car out of it, but with the S85 and all that shit. So they want to do the V10, but instead of the V10 being where it normally is in the front, they're gonna put it in the back and then do the whole. They're gonna basically do that type of build.
So they probably, I wonder if they'll use Audi or like maybe they'll just source a Porsche or one of those ax transaxles. But I wonder if they'll just try to use like an Audi
Maybe,
something style,
maybe,
DCT or yeah.
but
Hmm.
they're basically building a GT2 E90 chassis with the S85 V10 in the back, screaming to 13,000 RPM. And they're gonna have their own custom dry sub system that they're gonna engineer also. So it's gonna be neat. Like they even have it lifted up and they have it mocked up where they think it should line up in the back of the chassis. But it's not in the chassis. They just have it lined up so the car's like lifted up and they line up the engine where they think it should line up.
One thing I like is just how BMWs just just their build, just how they build their motors. You know what I mean? One thing I like is once you know one BMW motor, you know them all in a sense. Like basically, they a lot of the technology shared. Six inline six V8. You know what I mean? Inline four. The only thing different with the inline six and the V8 is the V8 to V, and they literally just keep the same. How do I call it? Engineering characteristics. except for obviously, accounting for V8 tab, balancing issues versus the inline six.
Well, when you run two banks, when you run a two bank engine layout, like a V configuration, let's say, you're always gonna run into that. That's a
Yeah,
given. That's just a given with any engine.
except for
The only one you're not gonna run into that with is
V10,
the V12, just because it's
V12.
two inline sixes paired
Yeah,
together.
you're right. Yeah, not the V10, the V inline, the V12, the V12. That's
But
right,
yeah,
and that's why V12's always been super, super, super smooth.
but I find it interesting how you and I both have a 4N build that we're both looking forward to or
Oh yeah,
watching.
no, 4N, 4N is I mean now you just showed me that. I'm actually gonna be tuning into that more because I mean that's kind of that's even better.
Because
That's cooler.
unfortunately, they're not releasing a lot of stuff on YouTube, but they're showing a lot of updates,
Hmm.
like a lot of variations of updates with the stuff. Like with your case, that build's basically complete, and they just
Yeah,
released it on YouTube with like a 335i or something along the lines of that,
yeah.
which is still cool, and I would definitely I'm looking forward to see. But they're built like this one that they're building the GT2 project and they're putting the engine in the back. Like to me, that's fucking wild. Like
Yeah, no, that's completely, yeah, that's different, different.
like they're going a
Yeah, it's just
little above
completely
and
different.
beyond, which I don't mind. I like to see that. I would definitely like to see this happen when they pull it off because they're showing no sign of slowing down. Hell, they even got graphs to where they graphed out the cylinder head chamber, and then
Hmm.
they're trying to see like how they can craft a piston to where they could get that full like um, higher compression piston. So it's definitely nice to see. Oh, well, Rebel add a new photo. That's interesting. But yeah, that's a nice way to start off. Both of us
Yeah,
having foreign builds. That's crazy. All right,
like foreign.
we're gonna swing it back to you though. We need number two now.
Number two, top favorite builds on YouTube. We already talked about this one. I'm going with some of the common ones before I go into my like, you know, we already talked about this one, but it was the V10, the four valve V10 that build it yourself that they're doing right now in the Lincoln.
You.
Like that's actually that's cool.
So
You know
we
what I
all
mean?
right. So
That's
that's I have that too. So we both have the exact same.
well, and the reason why because we that's something we've never heard. Like I think right now what's cool and what I like about especially in the car game right now is like everybody's so tired of seeing the same old builds over and over again. Like, what I mean, we've seen the boosted Ks, we've seen the LS swaps, we've seen LS swaps in almost everything now. We've seen we've seen the boosted yeah, we've seen like I said, we've seen the boosted Ks, we see the boosted B58s everywhere. We know they can make power. We know that it was impressive at first. Now everybody's like, whoop de doo, because like everybody's doing the same copy and paste. Kind of like when everybody had the Q50s and everybody was doing similar mods and the same thing. So it's like I like that or I'm missing one main one. The Dodge boys, the Mopar boys, everybody with their scat packs, snap packs, 392s, Challengers, Chargers, Grand Cherokees, Durangos. Now they got the Hellcat and Trackhawk variants. So then, what I mean, or even T Rexes. We're tired of seeing them. It was
Mm-hmm.
cool when it first came out. Now we're like, another one, another one. So I like that. Yeah, I think right now everybody's doing something unique, and it's like finally we're back into what made the car game so fun, which was always customizing and doing something different with your vehicle, doing something unique, where you're taking
Well,
something that
they're
game like
they're
this and
also
changing
going
it.
to step up just straight up engineering shit that like a lot of people will shy away from, which is like
Yes,
I don't remember. I don't think you ever remember, but I never remember a time where people would engineer their own engines almost in a sense.
no, you were one of the first people to tell me this, and you've been saying this for years. And I've been like, yeah, that's a good idea. And then now I'm like, how did you go about it? And then you explained, you started breaking things down to me. You're like, hey, look, so you got to start here. You do this. And once you get this, you solve for this. You solve for this. Did you have this?
Yeah,
And
it's
then
step by
by
step
then,
process.
you have an engine. And I'm like, wow. And then, so now I see how, like, that type of engineering is just even better. That's fun. Like, for example, I don't think my engine would be in my truck if you didn't engineer some things. You know what I mean? Like having to look at some things
Yeah,
and
custom
do it your
bracketry and
way.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise it might be in it, but then it might not run properly.
But it's also
Where
interesting because although I had to engineer it, some of that stuff was factory brackets. I just had to like add an extra layer for strength here and there. I didn't even have to like change the geometry of some of the holes. It's just the fact that it fits here. You just gotta add an extra layer of metal because of the way it's spanning out because it's a bracket for something really small versus it like holding an alternator or an AC compressor
yeah,
shit like that. So I get what you're
yeah,
saying,
when
bro.
not exactly, when not people will pop the hood, people are like, wow, it's all there. Looks like it looks factory, right? Yeah, it looks factory. Looks OEM. It's one of those funny things where like, yeah, I could spray it or add something to it, and then I pop the hood and be like, hey, there's nothing there. So I love it. But yeah, and I think that's cool nowadays where people are actually trying to do things out of the ordinary. So we're not just seeing like, for example, he could have just coyote swapped that Link Continental, called it a day. And you
Not
know what I
only
mean?
that,
That would have been
and
equally as cool,
and
but it
not
would have
only
been like, what's
that,
he do?
imagine like in which what I like about this in particular is he didn't go with the Mustang. I like that a lot. I
Yeah,
like that a
he
lot
could have just put
because
that in a Mustang.
Ford has done this project before. They only did one V10, then they put it in a Mustang, and they all expected, they're gonna bring that back and show that they could do it. They were like, nah, we're doing like a Lincoln Continental. I'm like, all right, that's ballsy. Like a V6
And
front
it
wheel
made it
drive Lincoln Continental.
and made it railroad drive.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And another thing is, it's just a testament to show how far the Mustang platform has come in terms of it actually can handle pretty good. It's just that a lot of these people who buy these cars never driven 500 horsepower, 400 plus horsepower a day in their life. So they don't know that you hit the gas with 400 horsepower, you're not just, you're going. You're being sent. You're sending it. It's not like your 300 horsepower six cylinder or 300 horsepower V8 from the 90s. You know what I mean? It's like, no, those are controllable and manageable. This is, hey, hit the gas, you're going, and it's gonna take you because everything is engineered now to be quick, to respond quickly, and go. So the impressive thing about the Mustang that I want to say is just because I had a Lincoln LS back in the day,
Uh huh.
is that that platform got shifted into what the S197 is, and then just kept going up from there to the point where now the Mustang does have independent rear suspension. So like the Do 98 basically was the basis for the S197, which was basically the joint platform they built with Jaguar. And the Lincoln
Mm-hmm.
LS S-Type, Jaguar XF, and Ford Thunderbird all shared that platform. Then, of course, it got tweaked because it couldn't fit the 4.6 in it. So the whole front of that frame or that whole front of that chassis is different than the Do 98. So,
Yeah.
but in my mind, it's probably just wide and similar geometry, and then the rear suspension is actually kind of it's similar, but it's different. It's obviously beefed up because Mustang and widened because it has to be Americanized.
Yeah.
Long story short, it's impressive because all they did was bolt that rear front and rear subframe in, and it shows now like Mustangs now can be used as a good chassis swap. Like, you know what I mean? So like if you have an older car or an older Mustang or something that you like that's another Ford product, maybe a Fusion. Because it seems like Ford low key built all their chassis to kind of somewhat be interchangeable. Not really, but it's just
Oh,
the
they
way they built
definitely
their
are.
cars.
It's just like the Hemis and the LSs. They're like literally all interchangeable. I agree with you. And like I don't understand how
Yeah,
they. What I don't like is they make it sound unique, and then
yeah,
when you like look at it, like just a normal person looking at it, they look the same or they look similar.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then
And it's like, oh, they made these mounting points in the same place. Oh,
exactly, it's just like why call it different when it's all you did was copy and paste and then just tweaked it a tiny
exactly.
bit to like I never understood that.
To meet like yeah to meet your bean counter standards. You're like,
Like
okay, yeah, we have to manufacture it.
what baffles me about the Lincoln Continental build, and it's also what inspired me to do what I'm doing right now with this engine that I'm doing, I mean, the only thing I gotta figure out is how to build a short block. But other than that, like the
Mhm.
fact that they grabbed the truck V10, the two valve, and these aren't Coyote. I believe these are Terminator heads.
No,
I
no,
could be
they are Cobra, or you would say Lincoln Marquet heads. They're four
yeah,
valve heads.
the four valve four heads. The fact that the head studs bolt on with no machining. So these heads, like if that Lincoln, oh no, like a Continental, if that Ford truck V10 was a V8, it's the fact that you could slap a four valve head right on there and it fits.
Yes.
That's what baffles me about that.
So I had a couple of the Fords, right? I had a Navigator with a 5.44 valve.
Hmm.
Loved that motor. I wanted to actually save that motor and swap it into like a Mustang or an Explorer. I wanted to make like a basically an Explorer SVT with a 5.4 and supercharge it. So basically, it would have been a four valve 5.4, not just a two valve, and it would sing like basically and just be like lower it. Basically, it would have been like a Trackhawk or Trailblazer SS before they made those type of cars. Like before they came out, it would have just been like that sporty SUV. But yeah, the impressive thing with the Ford and the Fordland is a lot of people didn't know this. Yeah, all you had to do was grab any two valve Ford, like you can grab a Crown Victoria, anything, any one of them, and you can grab Lincoln Mark 8 heads, or you would grab Lincoln Aviator heads, and you would have basically a four valve motor. If you had a 5.4, you would have to grab Navigator heads from 2003,
But
because
it's crazy how they all bolt up together. Like that part,
yeah,
like I understand they bolt up, but the fact that you can basically make any configuration of engine you want while they all still bolt up, like same head bolt pattern, like the same spacing, everything, even the same bore diameter, like that.
yeah,
That to me is crazy. That like
it's good.
it's
It's engineering because like Honda, it's like just like a Honda, just bigger.
yeah, in a sense, but like how would like the people who learn how to do crank swaps and cam swaps, like for example the F136 Ferrari Maserati V8 engines, how the Maserati V8 is basically a crossbank crank version, but you swap in a set of like F430 crank and cams, and you basically have like a budget, flat plane Maserati slash
Yeah,
Ferrari engine type
yeah,
ordeal.
you're right. You're right. Yes, 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 yes. You're
So
absolutely
like
right. Yes, I
there's
was
that
thinking about that. Yeah,
ordeal, but then there's also ordeals like this where you're cutting and welding heads to fit already functioning. Like that's wild. That's insane.
and then the pistons are pretty much dropping because now everything's the same geometry. So,
Exactly.
oh hey, you just need two extra Cobra pistons, and now you can send this motor to the moon. It's funny, you know what? A long time ago, I remember I was on one of the forums, and this is why I love the new generation, and I love these new builds today, which is why it inspires me even more today to keep go harder with building a car. Okay, and the reason why is because back then people always said you can't do that. Sorry,
That's
people
fine.
always said you cannot build this car. You will not do it. You will not be able to. It won't happen. It won't happen. Right?
Hmm.
Today has been shown over and over again, time after time again, that all these things and limitations that people have told us were all false. It's just they weren't there yet. They weren't at that time yet. And I don't blame them for saying we couldn't do it because yes, we couldn't do it at that time. But today we are here. We are revolutionizing what we can and can't do.
It's that
Like even in
fear.
the world of
It's that
aftermarket
fear.
computing, like there
Crazy.
are motors out here that are high compression, that are turboed, that now, right, I feel like, hey, if I was to buy another Lincoln LS, right, and just F around with it and
Yeah.
to build like my own little turbo kit, I have a feeling that I would probably make it last longer than what people had available back then. Why? Because I wouldn't use a factory computer.
No. Of
I
course
would
not.
use an aftermarket computer. But back then, they only used what they had available,
Of
which
course.
means they were limited. They couldn't make changes that they needed to make.
I mean, can you blame them when you're limited in supply?
No, I don't blame them. I just now like that today where we're reestablishing what the boundaries are, and we keep pushing the boundaries more and more. Like OEM manufacturers are pushing the boundaries in terms of power nowadays.
You over here like,
and
I had a
transmission
dream
technology.
that I could turbo my Lincoln LS.
And then literally, because there's only one, and I
Hmm.
wouldn't mind doing it because it's the Jaguar engine,
True.
and the Jaguar engine is not the most reliable engine, but at least that one I know was during a time where it was a hit or miss. Some people I know got high miles, and some people didn't. Versus the new ones today, which I don't know why, but if you're not on top of your oil changes or anything, yeah, you're gonna score those cylinders, those nickel cell linings, and you're gonna burn oil
And go bye
and lock
bye.
up your engine. Yep, lock up your engine.
Speaking of
That's what a
which,
lot of these Jaguars.
a car that I'm working on, the Alfa Romeo Quadrifoglio, he burnt through his cylinder walls. This coolant went in and started scoring. That's just a topic for another day. But basically, yep, free engine. I was like, damn, I ain't getting customer pay on
Wow.
this. This is warranty. I was like, whatever.
Yeah, he actually got a free. Wow, wow. I wonder how he did that. Well, that's cool.
2018, he had Mopar extended, $200 deductible. I was like, this is bonkers.
Hey, that's exactly what
You
I would
paid
do.
insurance your whole life for that one moment. It's crazy.
I would have too. I would have too. That would be me with any one of those German brutes or Italian brute sedans or coupes or sports cars. Any one of them, I'm gonna have the warranty
Hey,
because
guess
I would be scared.
guess what? I'm getting a free engine. I'm getting a I'm getting a Ferrari inspired engine, quote unquote, because it's just an F154 with two cylinders chopped
Yeah,
off.
that is true. That is true because
So
now they're just gonna be, all right, send it to the junk. You're gonna be like, thank you.
and that's gonna be a little foreshadowing for this podcast, but I digress.
Mm,
But
mm,
no,
mm.
I like this. I like this build a lot, and when you itching when I first saw this, I couldn't believe it, and then when you kept messaging me videos about it, I was like, all right, this thing actually is getting brought to light, and I just kept watching it every now and then. Like, they're obviously not full time YouTubers, but they definitely have
Yeah.
built a following with just this build
Oh,
alone.
a nice cult following. Because at first it was like when I remember the first video when he just showed the cylinder head, and he was like, "Yeah, so the plan is to put this on this," and because of again that's for years and years, especially when you're on forums online with old times and stuff. I thought, oh, this is gonna be another one of those videos where if there's someone saying they're gonna do this, we're not gonna see any progress for like a year or two or three, and then they might come back out. But no, it was like, boom, hey, we figured this out. Boom, okay, this warp, but we're gonna do it this way. It was like, wait, you guys are really doing this. And then, yeah,
Yeah,
the Continental is the icing on the cake, where it's like,
yeah.
because
Putting it in a
me,
Continental and having that guy render it for him, like that body style and stuff
uh,
on the airbags.
yeah, I have a soft spot. Like I've always wanted a '68 or a '67 Lincoln Continental.
Good luck.
And for people who don't know, this is the one that RFK was assassinated in. I mean, sorry,
Yes,
JFK. Yeah, yeah,
JFK.
JFK. Sorry, JFK was assassinated in, and it had the suicide doors back in the day. It was a very nice looking car, and there's a movie called Hit and Run with Dax Shepard, which that I watched, which actually made me even really like the car
Would it be a
because the
coupe,
way
a
he,
four door, or like what would it be?
it would be a four door. I would want a four door.
You want the suicide doors? That's why.
I have to have the suicide doors. It's a must for me. It is a must.
And it's a
Like
drop
if
top.
I don't, yes, it would be a drop top.
Damn, you really
It
trying
would
to get
definitely.
murdered, huh? That was a bad joke, but hey.
Damn, you know what? You got a point. You got a point. I shouldn't be, too
That's nice
flashy
though. That's
about
nice though.
that. Yeah. When and thing is, it's always been just cool. So then when they reincarnated the car, I was happy. But and I was hoping that they were gonna fix the mistake that they made, which in the '90s they made it a front wheel drive sedan, which was just kind of basic. Didn't look any like that good.
Hmm.
Couldn't even distinguish it from the town car because it was like similar size but smaller because it was front wheel drive. Then when it came back out, they nailed the looks, they nailed the interior, they nailed the seat, they nailed a lot of stuff. Like, they nailed the design language on the Lincoln. It's just that
What engine was in it? It wasn't like a Ford or Chevy product, was it?
Oh, this one back then? No. So back then, it had the biggest engine they had available, which was like I think a 750 cubic inch. Hold on. Let me look
Because
it
I
up.
think
It
the
was
one in Hit and
740.
Run, they said that
He built it. Yeah, he built it. He built it. He put a Ford Racing 426 in there, I believe.
okay, that's what I thought. Because I'm looking
Oh,
at the pictures, I'm like, what the heck?
427. He put a 427 in it.
It's does it say Ford? Does it say yeah? Ford is Ford Racing. So I wonder what engine was in it then.
The engine that came in it from the factory was a 462 cubic inch V8 that delivered 340 horsepower, 485 pound-feet of torque, making it the largest replacement engine ever used in a Ford Motor Company passenger car, which that turned out into 462 cubic inches
It's a
to
four valve.
liters.
Wait, it's a four valve?
It was a 7.5 liter.
But is it a four valve? Because I see 4V on this. What does that mean?
Oh no. His. I think the one he built. Let me see.
What does this
Oh wait.
4V mean on this? It's
Oh, that's a good question.
because that looks all
This is
factory, and
seven point
they
six
all say
liter.
4V on it.
Oh, four barrel
Oh, okay,
carb.
that's why. Okay,
Yeah, that's why. So yeah, it was the basically it was a 7.6 liter. So that's why that's why this was the largest engine Ford ever made. That was another reason why I wanted one of these because I wanted to buy it, take the engine out, save it as like a relic, redo the whole engine, rebuild it with some race parts because an engine that big, probably especially back then, they made it lazy. They
of
didn't
course.
make it to be like, like it just made torque. So an engine that size, I'm like, well, with today's technology and what we know, someone could make their own pistons. You know what I mean? Go through the heads, port them, put a better cam in it, and have that thing, just be just a little healthier. It doesn't have to sink. Is yeah, it's a 4.4 bore and 3.8 inch stroke. So 101 millimeter bore, 97 millimeter stroke. 10.25 to 1 compression ratio.
That's a 462 cubic inch, really?
Hmm.
What? Hold on. 462 cubic inch.
That was their largest engine.
7.5, and you're telling me it's a 101 by 90 what?
Mm, mm. 111 by 97. So
Oh,
111 bore.
111. Okay. I thought you said 101. I was like, that makes no sense. That's more like 6.3 ish, 6.4 ish. Because
It's the reason why.
the Mercedes M156 is 102 by 90 something.
No, you know what? This engine alone is the reason why that Chevy made the 454 or they call it the 8100, the Vortec 8100, the 8.1 liter,
Ah,
because Chevy didn't like that Ford had, the biggest, or I should say Lincoln had the biggest engine that Lincoln would have let, they would let Ford use it at the time. So Chevy made basically their big block, and these were the only big blocks. But the Chevy was the only big block that lived past all the other big blocks, basically.
oh, of course. Like that was a foundation for everything they built until recent, until like literally a year
Yeah,
or 2 years ago.
exactly. So that big block was basically like just sitting there chilling. I'm like, hey, yep, you can still get me. And honestly, they're very reliable. Like it's to the point I was actually looking for a 2500 Yukon Denali, well not Yukon, it's not Denali, sorry, Yukon like SLT or Avalanche or
Mm.
Suburban or because or even Escalade. I think you can get in 2500. No, I don't think you get in 2500 those years. But anyways, and the reason why was because it came with the 8.1 liter and an Allison 4 speed or 5 speed, sorry,
Yeah.
Allison 5 speed. If you got the later years, which to me was like you're getting the most bulletproof configuration. You're not going to get the best gas mileage, but you're
No.
getting an even more bulletproof configuration, like the LS or the LQ and the LQ motors, the truck motors. I'm just gonna call them truck motors, not LS. The truck motors are already fairly reliable. You know what I mean, with simple maintenance and stuff like that. But the big block was literally something that you don't even touch it. You just turn it on. It makes that much power. It really doesn't care. It just does what it does. Um, Transmission was better because it wasn't a 4L slippy.
Mm.
So it was Allison transmission, so it literally would actually just work, and tow and be a workhorse. So it wasn't meant to be a race transmission, but it was okay because if you got the later
It did
year,
the job.
did the job, and if you got the later year, I think it went from a 5 speed to a 6 speed actually. So you could actually swap in the 6 speed and get that extra little bit of performance because it was a 6 speed versus a five.
Mm. But yeah, nah, this Lincoln Continental build I like. It is part of what inspired me to do what I'm doing. I mean, this I was already doing what I was doing, and then when I saw this was just a cherry on top, basically.
Yeah.
But alrighty,
Next
next one,
build.
yeah. So what we'll do is you cover all the YouTubes, and then you start all
Hmm.
the YouTubes, and I'll start all the builds that we would like to see.
Okay.
So now we're on number
Uh,
3.
okay. My favorite builds was not really a build, I'm gonna say. It's what I've been seeing a lot of people starting to use now, or maybe they're just now coming to the light. I've been seeing a lot of supercharged VQs, which has been yeah. Z1 has a supercharged kit. So,
Yeah, but we need a
uh,
build though. We need a build.
okay, you want an actual build? I will
Yeah.
give you this person's build. Let me give you this person's build.
Is it the
Let me
one that
show
has
you.
the hybrid motor behind it?
No, but that one's actually pretty impressive too, though.
That time attack car, that track car. I remember that one.
That one's actually pretty
It's like
impressive.
supercharged and hybrid and all this other stuff.
So it was more of I was watching a couple of different people, and I mean, the reason why I was watching a couple of different people because I'm trying to see how's the reliability on the supercharger. So I was watching like Larry Chen, there he covered it, or I was watching this guy's build. His name is Ish, where he basically just talked about his kit 4,000 miles later. I mean, how they have good support. One of the bearings went out, but he thinks it's because something else. Like, I mean, on the kit.
Uh huh.
And and like he said that they have high quality and very good customer service. They've been good for years. So like, basically, there's a lot of people. I'll send you this guy's build, but like there's been a lot of people, I guess, behind the scenes that have had these superchargers, but they just haven't said anything. I guess they've just been behind the scenes as sleepers. And so I like that they are actually able to make 600 horsepower from an engine that only made 300-ish. So they're basically doubling the amount of horsepower
Mm.
just from a supercharger. And it's a bolt-on kit. And that's going to lead me down into some of the builds that I would like to see. Because the reason why I say that is because there's some builds or some cars that came with, these VQ motors that I feel like are deserving of 600 horsepower.
So what build is this? Give me the build. I want to see something.
All right, all right, all right, all right.
Because I see a bunch of supercharged ones. I particularly like this one that looks like a HKS unit. I always like HKS stuff though.
HKS. HKS.
This I don't think this HKS. It says turbo and high tech performance.
Huh.
But there's a looks like a twin turbo kit.
So I'm gonna show you the Z. I'm gonna show you the Z.
The still in superchargers, obviously another one of them.
Still in is not my go-to, but in all honesty, yeah, yeah. Let me
Yeah,
send
it
you
is a
this one.
HKS. That's what I thought. Then HKS made some pretty good products. They're obviously a little pricey, but I do like their how do I say their way of going about tackling these projects?
So yeah, typically it'd be a Z. Like most people always they
A
always
Z,
go
like the Infinity, what is it? G37, G35.
exactly, or and like so like yeah, and I sent you so I sent you this guy's video in the Discord chat. Let me go back to it again. Let me send this one.
Oh, the Z1.
Yeah. So see, and the thing is, I like that. I like that now. A lot of people are realizing like you can actually just supercharge these motors and get reliable power versus twin turbo in them
I think you get
because
them
you know
either
you
way.
still
You get them. You get reliable power either way. No,
yeah. Oh yeah, you can get reliable power out of the way.
because our
But at least
what
I
is
mean,
it? What is a compression on one of these?
let's see. The you uh,
Compression ratio.
11 to 1 on the VQ37 VHR.
So it's
So
DHR is a higher compression, but it's a 10.3 or a 10.6 to one. The VQ35 DE. I don't know about the
yeah,
37, but the HR, like you said, has a 11 to one compression ratio.
yeah.
Bore stroke of
That's the
95.5 by 81.4. So same bore as the VR38, obviously.
yep.
But
Yeah, makes about 325 VQ37 VHR, 325 to 350 horsepower between 266 to 275 pound-feet of torque. That says fairly, it was very beefy for a V6 at the time.
but supercharging this and getting 600, it just goes to show you how detrimental this engine was to the VR platform. Regardless if the VR was hand built and it's its own monster in its own right. Don't get me wrong, but it just shows you like
Exactly.
doing stuff like this and the fact that you're getting GTR numbers with a supercharger, not even twin turbo, just goes to show you how well this engine was prior to anyone doing any sort of things to these type of things. So like, still a supercharger guarantees you 500 horsepower. The HKS I think is on a similar ballpark. I like to say, and that's just bolted on a supercharger. That's not
Yeah,
doing anything else.
just bolt on power, and they can literally bolt on power. It's kind of impressive.
No, it's impressive, but to me, I guess it's expected because of the way these are built.
Yeah, and the flow rates. Yeah, we know like that's what they're trumpets. They're trumpet motors. I'm always gonna call it a trumpet motor.
Like the fact
Like
that
they just
people still try
like
to twin turbo these is crazy.
that was what I wanted to do. Like I honestly, because I couldn't find an
at that
FX.
point, you're at VR territory. You know, VR38 territory.
See, because I couldn't find an FX50 with the V8, my whole thing was going to be if I can't find an FX50, I'm gonna get an FX37 and I'm gonna supercharge it. That's one I just that's me leaking one of the builds that I want to do. One of my builds that I would like to do. But anyways, it would be one of these VQ vehicles and me what better vehicle than an SUV to troll people? Because you get an SUV, it's gonna be like, oh, that's just an SUV, and then
No, these I like these motors. I'm not a fan of the Gremlins, but I do like the motor itself.
yes, definitely not a fan of the Gremlins. I will say if you find one that's taken care of, find one that wasn't beaten, and
Yeah,
that's why I feel like a lot of these motors have Gremlins because like before back in the day, older people bought these cars, and that's why we had a lot of clean examples when we first started, like driving ourselves and getting in the cars. But now a lot of them have been to the takeovers and become drift vehicles and modded out like Hondas and raced out.
of course.
It's hard to find a clean example. So now every time we get one, it's like it's sometimes a clap box. It's like this poor thing. It's like this person was just red line all day, not checking the oil, not changing the fluids. You know what I mean? Just enjoying it, and then now we pick it up and we're like, "You poor thing, you poor thing." So
So
yeah,
that'll be yours. Mine is I have. You know what? I'll start with this. The Mazay 5 rotor.
Mm, I didn't think this was real. Now, I thought you didn't like Doritos.
I never said I didn't like them. I just said I'll never build one. I lied. I said that I won't help you build one. If we're
You
being
know what?
honest,
You know what? You're gonna change your mind on that. Trust me.
I said I won't
You're gonna
help
change
you
your mind.
build one. I wouldn't. I said I wouldn't build one as a daily driver or like something along the lines of that, where I could beat the living shit out of it and expect like amplified amount of reliability. I didn't say I wouldn't build one for race purpose use. I didn't say I wouldn't build one
Okay.
just to beat the
Okay.
living shit out of it. I just said I
But
wouldn't.
that's the whole point. That was the whole point of one.
I just wouldn't build you one.
Why?
Cause
You don't think I'll take care of it?
no, I don't know the rotor platform. I would have to actually
Oh,
learn it and study it and do all this other
oh, that's
shit.
okay.
But
I don't mind doing the test on me.
at the same time, if I'm learning it, I know probably I'll mess something up. So I'd rather me blow my own shit up than
Oh, no, 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 no.
have you be the
Don't
test
worry.
bed.
Don't worry. I was planning on buying one blown up already, so it doesn't matter. It was just gonna be like, yo, let's take these two motors that they said is crap and make a four rotor out of it. And
But
then if not, let's put two more on it.
so the Mazay Formula's 5 rotor, because he already did a 4 rotor, and that's in the RX-7 turbo, and he learned a lot of stuff from the Mazda 787B program, to the point where they actually gave him, or not gave him, helped him with his peripheral porting and the exhaust runner layout to make it sound like the 787B just with a turbo. It's this thing here. This thing's nasty. So he went on and did the 5 rotor project, and he picked up an SLC Superlight. Like someone was doing a project, they didn't finish it, so he picked it up from them. And now it's almost complete, and he obviously did a 5 rotor. That's the whole point, the Mazda 5 rotor. He did a 5 rotor, big single Garrett turbo with.
It's like a five cylinder, but just different. So
No,
now it's gonna
It's a
sound even
V10.
different.
It's basically a V10,
Yeah.
but a 5, 5 rotor layout. He did that,
Hmm.
big turbo. Um, he did an air to water intercooler just like his 4 rotor. It has Garrett cores for the charge cooler, and this thing looks nasty, so nasty. And he drove it
No,
around the block. I saw, if you ever get a chance, like look at the video, watch the video. That thing is like, look at this engine.
yeah,
Like it's wild. But I like that
yeah,
I like that he did a lot of, let's say, Q things. Like he was like, I'm only doing drive by wire. Not drive by wire. I'm only doing cable throttle. I'm only doing this. I'm gonna have a big turbo on it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that, because like he wants the feel of the car. He doesn't want no assist. And I'm like, bro,
yeah. Like you was
that's
telling me
that's gonna be
with the
wild.
yeah,
For you not to have
and
no
I know what you
assistance.
mean. I know what you mean. I know what you mean by saying you were like, this car has to be mechanical. Yeah, drive by wire, not
I
drive
don't
by. I mean, I'm
mind.
sorry, not drive by wire, drive by throttle,
Yeah,
throttle
cable
cable. Like you
throttle,
know what I mean?
manual brakes, no
Mechanical
ABS, no
real, yeah.
traction control, all that stuff. I get it. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
you
I'm
don't
just
need it.
saying this is too much of a car to not have assist. That's all I'm saying. It's like I won't understand that the car's like 500 horsepower, but that's also me pushing like 500 horsepower. Cable throttle, all this stuff. All right, cool. I could kind of get behind it as long as the car's light enough and the car's not trackable, more controllable enough to do it.
Yeah,
You're pushing, depending on the setup, you can easily push 1500 horsepower. This car is super light. It's literally called a super light car for a reason. And you want no assist? You crazy. I respect it, but you crazy to me. But I like it.
I feel like what better assist than the driver itself?
Yeah, but that's a lot of car to control. Hence, I like it. It's a sequential gearbox. It's double wishbone, like it's super light car, so it has a double wishbone suspension. All this other stuff. It's the it's the first billet 5 rotor we see in the states. It's not the first billet 5 rotor ever, because now Mad Mac has it. With the Mac, what's it called? He has a seven eight
You know what's
seven.
funny?
He's a 787D drift car with a chromoly cage, which I personally don't like the material for a chromoly cage, but I respect it because it's the first of a lot of things. It's his first five rotor, but this is the first billet turbo five rotor, so it's just a turbocharged version versus a naturally aspirated five rotor version like Mad Mac has. But nah,
How I
this
see
is
this here,
crazy.
that makes me right there to say, you know what, that car. I don't think I'd want to, build anything else. That makes me now. I'm interested. Like I saw the other day that Audi, I guess, will sell you an LMP1 car or something like that.
Mm.
Or I might be mistaken on the what type of car, but it's LMP car or IMP. I don't know, one of those cars. They're gonna sell it. They're selling their old race cars, and this right here, I wouldn't mind getting just the chassis of the race car, selling someone an engine.
But this is crazy.
Yeah, that's impressive. That is impressive.
He finally like finished it, got it running. Like he still got to tweak some things out, but he got it running. He drove it around his unit and shit like that. Like I think this is this was a part of one of the clips that was like that, and that thing's a monster. Hearing it is a monster. The fact that he's got a five rotor like this, mind you, what's it called? It's a five rotor with a hologram sequential trans, and what else? I just had the photo. Yep, it's a mid-engine billet turbo five rotor with peripheral ports on a Hollinger MXT sequential transaxle and an aluminum monocoque chassis, which is the SLC Superlight. Like that's a lot of car to handle, a lot
Yeah,
of car, and the fact that he has no assist is even
that's what's gonna
crazier.
make it even. That's what's gonna make it even more fun.
That's a death
Because now
wish.
you gotta make sure all your ducks in a row, and that's a car you never go
But that
all
picture
out
is
unless you
nice.
got like a
But
big
it's a death wish,
open
but
air.
that picture is nice.
No, that's nice. That's prop. Look at all that balance. Look at all that weight centered right there. Where you know now you can control it. You know what the weight is, so now you
You
know how
ain't
to toss
controlling
that weight.
something this beastly. Like I'm telling you, if it's turbo forward and made 1,000, right? Probably 1,100 horsepower, because I think that's what happened with that one. I can only imagine this could do 15, 17 easy, five rotor, right? Billet five rotor. But to have it in such a light car where it can make an incredible amount of downforce when tuned right. Like every time you go faster, you just see the car keep squatting, and squatting,
Yeah,
closer to close. Imagine a car with this power plant squatting. All you hear is
he's gonna have to stiffen everything.
hell yeah.
Now, right, but I look at that rear suspension design.
That's what
It's
when
just
you
crazy.
buy this kit car, the super light car, that's what it comes with. It comes with all this goodies. So if you want, so with the super light car program, from what I remember, you can buy
Hmm.
this chassis as a kit, and you get everything: the aluminum control arms, the whole frame, the body, even the interior if you want to order it. It's your choice of engine and trans if you want them to source it out for you, or if they will build it around whatever engine and trans you want. So let's say you're getting a 7 liter LS7 and you want to slap it on a Porsche, what is it, 6 speed manual. They have the mounted points. They will build it around that, and you could just build it at home, and you go source out your 7 liter LS7 and a Porsche transaxle. If you want to do a Coyote, same ordeal. If you want to do, I believe it's a GTR engine, same ordeal. If you want to do any type of engine configuration, as long as you give them the blueprint, they will make the mounts for you in that SLC and then just ship you the whole kit car and then you just assemble it yourself. No cutting, no welding, no nada. You just bolt on and go. That's how these SLCs are. The Ultima RS is basically the British version of this. And although it looks better, it looks more, let's say, curvature, and it has, I might have better aerodynamics. I could be wrong. It's based on
Hmm.
one. It's based on one engine, and that's just the LS or the LT5 supercharged, whatever it may be. So
That's
but
okay.
I guess that's the only downfall with the Ultima RS than the SLC Superlight. Also,
That's okay. You know why that's okay? If it can fit an LS, it can fit anything else. So that's okay. That's not necessarily a bad thing.
of course, someone built one with Audi V10, Lamborghini V10 in it.
Yeah. I was gonna say if it can fit an LS, that means it can fit a whole bunch of other stuff. Like you could probably put a crazy like a turbo K in there, which I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Maybe
you could
something
obviously
might
do all that shit.
something might do like yeah yeah.
All aluminum monocoque, tubular hybrid, billet machine suspension, front mounts, fully TIG welded. Fuel tank capacity 19.2 gallons plus surge tank. Mid-engine rear-wheel drive. Ground clearance 4 to 5 inches. Weight distribution 46 front, 54 rear. Depends on drivetrain and other choices. 2,400 pounds typically. 18 to 20-inch wheels roughly.
Hmm.
Let's see if they have a configuration thing. Fuel and drivetrain. Oh no, they changed it, huh? All right, here we go. Transaxle engine. Audi. You can fit the Audi V8, Audi V10, BMW. Wow, they have new options now because this wasn't here before. So you can fit the BMW V12. You can fit the Chevy LS, Chevy small block. You can fit the Ferrari V12, but it's the 599 or the 400i. The Ferrari V8, but it has to be the 360. Ford Windsor engine, Ford Mod motor, the Lamborghini V10, and the Maserati V8 4.2. And if you're doing an LS, they give you an option to do the bracket, transaxle, obviously, V8 Granzano transaxles. So, wow, they used to not take orders. Now they're taking orders, which is cool. But let me see if I could find facts. There's nothing here. Okay, let's go back one more time.
Hmm.
Manual. Nope. Kit details. So standard kit.
Yep.
Stage one chassis suspension, 15,895. Chassis extras, 6-point cage. If you want to do body, hinges, latches, and handles, you have to call for pricing. Suspension fitment kit, depend call for pricing. So we're looking at, let's say, probably 30 grand, 30 to 40 grand for the whole car without engine and all that stuff.
You know what's funny? I
What's up?
laugh because you remember how back in the day, you say, man, that's a lot of money, right? That's not a lot of money. Because think about it. You're right. That's not a lot of money. You get this car, right? And then if you're up there about 30, 40 grand, right? In terms of building your own car out of this kit, you're literally getting your own like supercar in a sense because it's not going to perform like a regular car. Well, obviously
No,
depending on
not
your
at
motor
all.
setup,
It's not. No,
but
it's
it's
not getting
gonna
to perform by a
handle
different car.
is like it's gonna be light. It's gonna have the right suspension geometry, the right engine layout where like it should be. It's not like you're getting a
Well,
Honda
it's
or
it's a
like you know
preference.
or
It
something else.
depends. It depends. But
Yeah, again, it is
so
preference.
here we go. Stage 1 to 4 must be purchased together. There are no separate chassis or body sales. With the separate stage approach, the cost of the standard kit is 65,300, a $9,200 difference if you're doing it separate. But if you're doing it all together, it's probably going to be cheaper. However, shipping makes different. It's a difference. The buyer is responsible for shipping costs. As much, it could be as much as a $5,000. So
Yeah,
a $9,200 difference depending on separate
so
stages, plus the five
about 60,000.
thousand. So let's say just about 60, if not 70, depending on how much options you choose.
Yeah,
For a
yeah,
for
exactly.
a kit car that could do engine mount towers based for LS, many other available at extra cost. Longitudinal engine transacts. It could be right hand or left hand drive at no extra cost. Drop floors for
Hmm.
extra headroom. Extended foot box for extra leg room.
Yep. Need both those.
Of course, we big peoples, taller
All
peoples.
right, we need those.
But
Like
still,
finally a
for
car for us.
let's say all in all $70,000. Standard kit listed below is 56.1. If you're buying in the stages, it's 65. So 56 plus 5, 6. Let's say $62,000. That's the price of like a 2008 GTR. But that's also not
Yeah,
including the engine and trans. You have to source that yourself.
exactly. That's what I'm gonna say. It still gets up there, but at the
So
same
you
time,
can technically put any engine and trans you want in that motherfucker. If we're being
yeah,
honest,
yeah, yeah. You technically put any car, any I mean any engine, anything you want.
all for
And you're
like
getting like
2,400 pounds roughly.
and you're getting your own street race car, like basically, like you know what I mean,
That's a full blown track
like
car. As much as it could be
yeah, you,
registered on the street, that's a track car.
exactly. Like you're gonna drive down the street. Yeah, dude might have his whatever, you know, Ferrari, whatever, Lamborghini, but next to that, they're gonna be like, what the fuck is that?
Exactly. No, it's crazy.
And you can be like, yeah, this is a track car. Like, your car is like a street track car. Like this is an actual track car.
Alrighty. Let's get on to the next build.
Okay.
Next YouTube build.
All right. So this one is this one was tough for me because I mean,
This is the
oh
fourth.
man, I know, I know this one. That's what I mean. This one was kind of tough for me because it's like recently what I've been trying to wanting to get into, but like at the same time, I was also thinking of like I don't know. I guess this is different. This is different. It's kind of I guess I have to find an actual specific build, but it's been body swaps. You know what I mean? So I've been following a bunch of different.
So you
Like,
gotta have at least one body swap guy
all
in
right,
particular.
the most recent one was a Buick. Oh, what's the name of that car? Buick Tesla. So, oh, what's the name of it? What was the name of it? What is the name of that car? And it might have been because I have it on my Facebook. And I'm in a body swap group, so bear with me one moment. But I think it was a Buick Riviera, right? Like a 1968 or 1969 Buick
Buick. Let me
Riviera.
search this up now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Buick.
We do have Google. Yeah. And they swapped it onto a Tesla Plaid.
That is
Um,
wild. You did not just say what I think you just say.
I think I found it, and I think they have the Jeeps Monsters for some reason. I don't know why.
No,
And
I
and,
see it
and
right
right
here.
now,
That's crazy. That's crazy. So
yeah.
before you continue, I had the opportunity to drive one or sit passenger in one because someone traded it in at Alfa Romeo, Central Florida, and my buddy, well, salesman that I know, he was like, yo, this has a knocking issue. I'm like, I am as much as I want to work on it. Tesla's right down the street. Just go to Tesla. It still has a factory warranty. Why would I charge to work on this when you have a factory warranty? Like, go there. But
Yeah.
I had the luxury of getting in one of those. Holy shit.
How it's like a video game, I bet. The rush.
That car is a roller coaster times 10.
Wow.
He went, I shit you not. I would like to say it was 1,000 feet, and he reached 120 miles per hour like this.
It's
I
impressive.
was baffled.
It's impressive. That is why,
I
as much as
was
I know we knocked them,
so nah, Blake.
I like them.
You gotta
They have their
understand.
place.
You gotta understand. I was chilling. My gut went to the back seat. I was chilling like this in the car. I'm like, all right, punch it. He had it in. He put it in plaid mode first, and and then he was like, all right, let me put it in drag mode. I could actually feel the difference between plaid mode and drag mode, and they were both bonkers. I was like, yo, he literally did let go brake, and I shit you not, Blake, my body, my my guts was in the back seat, my soul was in the trunk. Like that was
Yeah,
I was like
honestly, I feel like it's the best. That's the best feeling. That's the best feeling ever.
that's why I'm like, yo, you should come down here and visit me. Maybe I'll take you a drive in the Plaid because that shit was crazy.
Honestly, I would love to. You know what? Might start some reviews. Uh,
But yo,
I just,
that's nah. Like,
yeah,
how is
but
that a street legal car? Is beyond me.
the electricity, the electricity, and that's the impressive thing.
It's the
That is
way
why,
it's the
like,
way it pulls you. I'm just like, bro, no one needs this. No
no,
one.
no, they really don't. They really don't. Nobody in their right mind ever needs something like that with that much power. But, but, but. You do. You do. And that's why I said they have their place. That's why, like, when they first came out, I always wondered, I said, man, all of these would make good, like, body swaps. And then now today, here we are. People are literally swapping that car and everything. You have that guy who was, who went to Cletus's thing. The guy who cut up his Tesla, he called it, what did he call it? He didn't call it Leroy, or did he? He might have called it Leroy or something like that. But basically, he cut up his Tesla and then he put a Honda Odyssey body, so he called it the Platycee at for one point. And then after that, he called it. He just took the whole body off and he just cut it up and just made it like a go kart.
Bro,
So
that shit was crazy. I don't care. Like, it still won't change my fact that I won't get a Tesla. But that car is wild. That
yeah,
car blew me away. Literally. Like, I think I'm still in the back seat. I'm not even here.
you're still like, whoa, what happened? What happened? You're like,
It's
what's going
just,
on?
it's
Yeah,
crazy. That's unnecessary. Like, how do you sell that to the public? It's beyond me. How?
and think yeah. How do you sell that to the public and think the public isn't gonna hurt themselves?
I mean, granted. What I don't like, though, is the auto brake. That shit pisses me off. Like, you're going so fast, and then as soon as you let go of the gas, it brakes for you. I don't like that.
Yeah,
I don't like that. I don't like that auto braking. You can't turn it off, and I just don't like it. So like, you have to stay on the gas, and if you don't, it will break. It will like stop you. Like, you could, let's say, you know how you like rev something up and you just let it coast and it does its thing. It won't do it.
yeah,
It will apply the brake for you. It will start applying the brake, and I don't like that at all. That's the only thing I don't like about it. Other than that, that shit's
yeah,
bonkers.
yeah. No, I feel you on that. It's like you're like I'm going fast, and it's like yeah.
That
I've never been in one.
that is
I've never been in
bonkers.
one. I've been in a regular Tesla, but not a plaid.
We still have the plaid, and that shit's bonkers. That shit's crazy. Has a little like futuristic symbol thing in the back and everything. I'm just like, bro, like,
Yeah,
nah, we don't need this. I'm good.
yeah. You're like this. Yeah, you're like this doesn't need to be on the street, and that's why I get why on YouTube you go watch those videos of the plaid just smoking everybody, just like doesn't matter what it is. It's like of course it's gonna go, of
Dude,
course.
but
Like
that's
it's like
crazy.
who's well, why would you not put your money on the plaid?
That's crazy. Like, no, 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 no,
He said nope,
no,
not
no,
doing it.
no. All right. So that's interesting to see. Oh, look, that's an ultimate
Yeah,
sleeper. I ain't gonna lie.
yeah.
So let's get into mine.
You're gonna see a lot more muscle cars like that. You're gonna start seeing a lot of them. There's a lot of low key muscle car guys that they bought some wrecked Teslas and they've been low key swapping them all. It's actually kind of funny.
So, so I have two projects, but they're by the same dude.
All
This,
right.
so I would say I would choose this over the other one because that one isn't complete. He's still building it, but I've been watching every video and I just love it. But Stance
Hmm.
Works, Mike over there at Stance Works, he built a time attack car with a Ferrari. Was it 308 or 3 whatever it may be, 328 GTB, and he took the V8 engine out of there and put a Honda K motor in there, called the GT The 244 GTK, 2.4 liter, Honda GTK K series, and it's a time attack car, and he displayed it in Australia. He went to Australia to time attack it along with Ryan Turk's Judd V10 powered Supra and a couple other cars. But I followed this build from when he first got the car all the way to when he was gutting it up, all the way to when he was learning fabrication. It was a lot of firsts for him that I saw, and I'm quite surprised that I've actually sat in and watched every video from when he started this project. I believe it was 3.5, 4 years ago now, roughly. So
Yeah.
it was like one of those, how like you watched the first Iron Man, and now that you're a grown person, you actually finally get to see Avengers Endgame. It was that feeling for me, but in the car world, I actually got to see him build it through and through, and I'm fortunate enough he was able to document every little detail about this, and it's one of my favorite builds, and I just love it. I love the retro style Ferrari look first and foremost. I've always had
Yeah.
a lot of design cues from these Ferraris have been carried over the years, which is also cool. But the fact that he put in a little four-cylinder turbo, making 1,000, and granted he's had some issues with that, and whoever the engine builder is, and now he's went a different route with it, and he's actually been having really good reliability with it. Obviously, it comes down to the builder. No matter how reliable the engine is, it comes down to the builder. But
Yeah.
at one point, he had a 1,000 horsepower engine on a 2,500 pound chassis, and it was just bonkers. But I like this build a lot. So he's building this, and along with that, he has the stance. He's building an F40 with a naturally aspirated V12, which I can't wait to see, and I've been following that too. He has a couple of videos out on it now. He went to Germany to pick up the F140 V12 out of an 812 super fast, and it's gonna be an amazing build that I can't wait to watch. You know, throughout the process of what he's doing, because now he's really good in CAD. He's really good with
Yeah.
3D scanning. He's got a nice built computer by Orbital Computers, I believe what the company's called. The only time they've done this is in an F40 LM car, basically. So that's the only time they ever done something like this, but they never done it ever since. And he's got real
Hmm.
F40 parts. He's building I forget what material cage it is, but he's building a custom chassis cage with a fixture and all this stuff. And he's fitting this 800 horsepower. It's gonna be up to 800 horsepower. He's taking away the direct injection, which I kind of don't like, but I get because it can be a hassle trying to keep direct injection.
Yeah.
He's going full port injection. He's doing some nice head designs. I believe I showed you the cylinder head covers one time with the old school
Mm.
Ferrari logo on it. So he's going port
Yeah.
injection, doing all that stuff, and I can't wait to see it. He's using 458. What is it? The 458 GT3 knuckles, which, believe it or not, those GT3 knuckles have been carried on all the way from the 458 to the 488 to the now 296. They're now modern GT3 car. It's the same knuckles, so he's not
Yeah.
losing any modern ability as far as that aspect of it. He gets to copy and paste a lot of parts over, which makes his process a lot easier. But this is one project I can't wait to see come to light.
Hmm.
And he went to H&R, the HQ over in Germany while he was there. Since he picked up the motor from there, he went to H&R to get a custom set of suspension springs and tubes and stuff like that. So this is one project I can't wait to see. But I will not mention it as far as one of my top 5 builds on YouTube, just because it isn't to the completion stage. It's still at the beginning stages of it. This one is definitely the GTK is my favorite. And it's the fact that you put a Honda motor in a Ferrari, which is, oh man.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that cease and desist. I was waiting for it,
Nah.
but it didn't happen, which is awesome.
They probably want to see it.
They want to see the F40 more with the V12 now, which is bonkers.
Yeah, that's probably why they want to see it. They probably didn't care when it had the K, but they're like, okay, he's going back with our natural engine.
Well, they put it. They had it in the LM car, and then after that, that was it. So this will be nice to see. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah,
But on to the final build, and then we will get into the builds we will want to do, and I'll run that portion of it. So on to the final one.
Corvette go kart, Cletus.
Of course, we all.
Because I
I'm
told
not
you,
even.
boys,
We're not even gonna go into that. We all know what that looks like, but that's just bonkers. That was
the
another
reason
build that
why I
actually
always
followed
say,
through and through. Same thing with you, obviously.
yeah, reason why I've always wanted to build an exo car, exoskeleton, and
Exo
I've always said
car.
the Corvette's like the perfect car to do it. Like basically, I want to take the car, take all the panels off, the fenders off, replace everything with tube chassis it basically, and then that's it. Put the lights on. That way you can still shoot legally register. It still has its airbag safety systems, but you know, it's basically a go kart now.
So mine is uh, the twin turbo Lambo Range Rover.
What the what what is this?
It is this fabricator who's
What?
pretty well known as far as fabricating Baja builds. He's building his own custom Baja build with the Lamborghini V10 in the rear and a set of turbos.
I like this.
So the turbos are not going to be sitting in the back like they normally do. They're going to be. Um, actually, I lied. I think the engine.
I
Yeah,
like this.
I believe the engine is facing backwards, and it's like what's it called? It's like a Porsche, like Volkswagen ordeal. How the engine's all the way in the rear.
Yeah,
So it's one of
yeah.
those with a set of turbos, and it's just my God,
I
it's
like this.
bonkers.
I like this. You know why I like this? Once you had me a pre-runner.
It's a pre-runner, but it's a rear engine. It's not a mid engine. It's a rear engine
Yeah, that's
pre-runner.
how you. It's gonna be. I want to see how it's gonna run. This thing might just want to do wheelies all day.
But it's mind blowing.
It might just want to do wheelies all day. So, but if he can get it to be dialed in and
Yeah, I believe
maybe to
his
put
name
some
is
more power,
what's his name? Matt. I think his first name is Matt. I forget his last name, but he's a he's a fabricator and he does a lot of Baja fabrication basically. That's like that was his line of work until
he's gonna
now
have
he's
to. You know, what he's gonna have to do that rear spring rate's gonna have to be stiffer than the front, just so then that way when he guns it,
oh of
the
course.
front don't just come up. But yeah, that is crazy. Wow.
But I think it's because you could do the four seats. That's why he went this route. So
Yeah,
four
yeah,
people
he
could
wanted
sit
to
in it.
see. Yeah, he wanted to keep it as like a actual SUV.
But then it's like depending on how you
You know
route
what's
the
funny?
but depending on
I
how you route the
seen this.
shocks, it's gonna be interesting.
I seen this, but when I seen the picture, they didn't list the engine. I only seen the body. I was like, oh, I'm like, that's not even a Land Rover anymore. But I'm like, oh, damn, he went all out though. He went all out.
Yeah, I believe. Why can't I find his name? This guy is the fabricator, but I'm forgetting his name. Oh no, I think he's the owner. The fabricator looks different.
It's cool though.
Is that Morgan? Really? Is it Morgan? Yeah, it is Morgan Clark. Sorry, that is him. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, Morgan Clark Design. Yeah, that's him. All he does like frame and pre-run chassis builds. Like this dude's a nasty and he doesn't do it the CFD way. He does it old school measuring. Like he has like tapes and fixtures, and he doesn't use a computer like that. So he's like going the longer way of going about it, but it's mind boggling.
Hmm.
But
But
he wants to learn it, but he just doesn't have time, and he just everything he does is by hand, literally.
that's good.
Well, that's a long
That's
process,
good.
though. Fucking
No,
hell.
that's good. As long as I mean, so as long as it holds up, that's all that matters. The quality looks good, the fit and finish. You know what I mean? It looks good.
But yeah, he has it's a full tube chassis Land Rover, like a pre-runner
Yeah,
Land Rover.
Velar. Yeah, he took a Velar and cut it up. Smart to cut up a Velar. The Velar has that sporty look. The Velar is also the lightest one. And you know, when the Velar came out, I'll be honest, I had a soft spot for it at first. When it first came out, I was finally happy because it was like, for me, it was Land Rover's first non-hardcore SUV. You know what I mean? Because they always had SUVs. They were always meant to go like super
Define
off-road.
non-hardcore. Like what would be a hardcore SUV from them?
Like basically, all the SUVs were always capable. They always had air suspension and they go through like some off-road like little bits and like locking differentials and all that. Like this still had it, but this was like a unibody. Like they're all unibody, but like this one was like, how do I call it? This was more of a lighter crossover type build. Like this is the lightest SUV they made. All the other ones are kind of porky and hefty to have some weight to go through like mud and stuff.
I would
Like they always
say
had,
I do like I always like the Range Rover design concept, especially with the Velar, because like it was actually their first attempt to
and it
make a
handled better.
small, sporty, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it handled because the Range Rover Sport never, never handled that good. Never.
Granted, I did like the fact that it came with a smaller engine. I do like the fact that it's a smaller package and they never done it. So I do
Yeah.
like that aspect of it. But I definitely like the Dakar prototype a lot more.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
nasty.
You know,
All right.
the car prototype's pretty nice. Good to
So
nice.
speaking of these type of pre-runner builds, we're gonna start off the builds we want to do list.
Okay.
Since this is kind of sort of inspired by the car rally Velar, let's say,
Yep.
but I think it could be performed pretty well. But it is a Tacoma Baja basically, like a Baja style from like the third generation Tacoma. So like with these big
Baja
fender
style.
flares, yeah, like a Baja style like this,
Oh
like
yeah.
from the last generation before. Now
Hmm.
they went 4 cylinder, so it'll be
Yep.
one of
I've seen this.
these with like a dry sump 2UR GSE with like
Hmm.
a Dirt King, lift kit with long travel suspension along the lines of that with a 2UR GSE with,
Yep.
and I would want to use their 8-speed trans so that I can make it all-wheel drive and stuff like that. And yeah,
Yeah.
this this is basically will be that competitor, and I would supercharge this 2UR GSE, but I wish they had like a twin screw supercharger. I think someone's building one, but I have no idea. In Australia, which obviously because Australia likes to do things a little differently.
So, hey, I'm all for it. That's why every part that I get from my car, a lot of them's gonna come from Australia.
Yeah, like right here, Elate ISF supercharged kit, like something
Yeah.
along the lines of that
Aussies know what's up.
on the TUR.
The Aussies know what's up.
Yeah,
Where
they like
everybody
going
else will
above
be
and beyond.
scared,
That's what it is.
yeah, where everybody else will be scared to touch the platform, they'll be like, hey guys, you can do this with
They'll
it.
just be drinking one day and
Take
be
that
like, "Hold my
information.
beer." Cause like as
Yeah.
much as I like the RR racing kit for the supercharger, how it's centrifugal supercharger, it's just like I don't want to deal with like turbo seal style supercharger bullshit. I don't want to deal with all this extra running and piping to having to go into the intercooler, all that shit. Like I don't want to deal with all that. Just give me something that slaps a bolt on with like let's say a water air to water intercooler right in the middle of it. If not, just let the tube go one direction and out instead of me snaking it with all this. Granted, it does look pretty nice with all this carbon fiber shit. It's just too much running. And the
Yeah.
intake manifold, I guess I understand why, because the intake manifold flows well enough for the Yamaha design V8. But nah, give me a supercharger. Give me like a twin screw supercharger
And of
right on top.
course, and exactly. That's one reason I wanted that Harrop supercharger.
The hot up.
Yup.
Like
Man,
give
it's like look at that. It's
like give
like
me
look at that.
give me
Like,
something along the lines of that. I want to deal with. I like it for certain applications when you're like trying to just do something quickly custom and you don't want to change, you don't want to touch the internal stuff like that. But it's like if you're running a supercharger, you're gonna be having to do injectors, so you got to take the intake manifold off anyway. So it's like, why not just
hey,
build something that goes on top of here, which
yeah, like that's perfect.
like Elate did. But like
Yeah, like that's perfect.
if
Like
it would
that is
load,
perfect.
there you go. But like yo, like it has a bypass tube for the coolant, and that's it. Like it just bolts on.
Simple engineering.
Like that to me is like yes, I would get one of those.
This is why. This is why I like the Aussies.
I
This is
like them too.
exactly why. They know how to have fun. They know how to tango.
With I wonder
They know how to
how much
tango.
power you can expect a minimum of 20% increase around at 6 psi on a stock standard engine. So that's 6 psi, and this thing could go up to 13 and a half. So I can only imagine with more than double the psi boost, how much it can make.
How much you can because that's exactly what I found out for the Infinity. Well, the Nissan V8, they were only running 6 psi, and they're already getting 500, 600 horsepower. So I'm like, you can tell me y'all can go up more?
Yeah, because I believe the R Racing one, it does about
Oh,
it. It can do. You could do 530 to 550 wheel horsepower on a dyno jet at 7 psi on 93 pump gas with PPE headers. So it's doing it with some mods. This is the Elite Superchargers doing it with zero mods.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's doing unfortunately like it's only for the '08 Lexus ISF, but like I can only imagine something like that on like the newer platformed
I
updated
bet
TURs.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're similar. Just like how at first they would try to tell, like Harrop tried to tell people, yeah, the supercharger isn't compatible with the other year, trucks. And then later on, they were like, okay, yeah, hey, they're the same.
But
You
like
know what I mean?
I this it's just crazy. It's crazy. I don't understand why
I won't be
manufacturers do
surprised.
that shit, but hey. But like
I won't be
this
surprised
the
if they're the same.
the
And
stage 4 quote unquote supercharger can make
maybe four.
714 wheel horsepower or 860 basically to the crank.
Hmm.
Supposedly. The only record shown was 780 to the crank, so I feel like that was bullshit. But I can only imagine like a twin instead of all this piping with a centrifugal supercharger and pulley shit like that, just a slap bolt on right on the top, like Wise Tech with the M156. Like they
Yeah,
just slap it on right on top, boom, that's it, make power. But
yeah.
hey, but yep, that it'll be a supercharged 5-liter V8 with a dry sump on a Toyota Tacoma with long travel suspension, and I want the 8-speed with the all-wheel drive from Toyota, just a stock 8-speed that goes like the GX 470 or
Wow.
460, sorry, stuff like that.
You with an eight? I'm surprised.
Toyota's 8 speed? Yes. I'll just get a better torque converter.
It's just you could do a German and it'd be faster.
Nah, this was gonna be an all Toyota thing.
I respect it. I respect it.
This
I
was gonna be
respect
an
it.
all Toyota thing. All Toyota. So that's my Baja basically built, and it's inspired by the Velar of the what is it? Ugh, wow, tongue twister. It's inspired by the Range
But
Rover Velar Dakar kit from what is it? From MCD1 Fabrications.
hmm,
So that's
okay.
that's my Baja build right there. So now your turn.
Hmm. My turn. Okay. Well, well, well. Where do I get started about the bills that I want to do? Hmm.
Start by one of them.
Let's see. No, I'm trying to think which one is spicier. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Like,
I
do
have I
you
have a
do
couple.
you also have a Baja build that matches mine, or do you have like another car that you want to do, or what it may be?
So honestly, it's a car that I want to do.
Okay.
So I'm thinking of doing something like a um I don't know if it's something that has to be V8 swap. Obviously, it's gonna be V8 swap. Um, I was thinking I've always wanted to do like I said a Q50 with a V8 swap,
A
right?
Q50 with what type of V8?
So I was gonna keep it all Nissan. So I was
VK56 it
gonna,
is.
yep, that's it. That's all I want to do.
So let's search up the Infinity now. Infinity Q50 with a VK56 supercharged.
I would supercharge it, and that's why I would get a hair up supercharger. Everything that the way I look at it is this engine can move an SUV in a big sedan so easily that in a lighter or slightly lighter car, that engine, oh yeah, TBS does make a kit for it as well,
Someone's
but
putting
Harrop
it in a
makes a kit.
BMW E90 series
What?
right here, Facebook.
Wow. Oh, wow. I'm going to look that up.
Later, later, later.
Yeah.
But Infinity Q50 with that type of engine, you might have to drive something. It might not clear the hood.
Um, I wasn't planning on running the hood.
This dude.
Fire breathing dragon
Yeah,
just
this
hanging out from under
this
on
this
top.
Q has a LS in it.
Yeah. So I look at it if it is fun with the LS
LS is
with this dual
smaller.
overhead cam engine, but this dual overhead cam engine that just wants to sing, it'll make it even more fun.
LS is significantly smaller.
Mm. LS is probably the size of the VQ.
I think the VQ is like skinnier, but like that's also smaller because it's shorter. Like you gotta understand, this is like a
Yeah.
truck motor. This is massive.
Perfect.
Like
Well,
look
they
at the
say
way
it's a
look
truck
at the way
motor.
it's sitting in this BMW. Like that's sitting up there. You're telling me you'll make it fit a Q? I don't know.
No hood.
He said
See, it
no
fit.
hood.
It comes in the M37. I mean the M56, which is the same thing like the Q50, but the hood is shaped around the body. So I'll just get a bulge on the hood, just like the ISF did with the V8.
That's wild. Nismo customer racing.
A better motor obviously should be a VR38, obviously, because it would just fit and pay homage in there.
Oh,
But
of course. But whatever. It's still not a bad swap. I would like to see something like that, like a V8 swapped Q.
I just want it to be like the ISF competitor, so it's like it's homemade. Hey,
ISF, like the IS
ISF,
five,
IS five
the
hundred.
IS 500. Ah,
Mhm.
all right.
Mhm.
That'll be nice though. So you got
I love the
your.
ISF.
So to start off, I got my Tacoma with a TUR and a twin screw supercharged setup, long travel suspension, Baja build type ordeal to commemorate the like or be like the Range Rover Velar. That's the car prototype they're doing the Lamborghini twin turbo V10 in,
Yeah.
and then you got the Infiniti Q50 with the VK56. Keep it up. So you're keeping it all. I'm keeping it all Toyota. You're keeping it all Nissan with our first two builds, basically.
Mhm.
Okay, gotcha. Even though
Keeping it on these on.
unfortunately, my motor is technically Lexus, but it's still obviously all Toyota. And your engine is technically Infinity through and through,
Mhm.
almost. Because they didn't put a
Mhm.
VK in a Nissan, did they? No, they did. I think the
They
truck.
did. No, they did. The trucks, on the trucks.
Mm, okay, that's cool. All right, we're gonna go on my second
Look at
build
these on.
now. Now we got the Baja out of the way. You went the sedan route. I'm gonna go your
Mhm.
route a little. I'm gonna start with my SUV build,
Okay.
and I know you're a big thing about SUVs. I personally don't like
Mhm.
SUVs, but if I was to do it, I would do it this way. So here we go. It's
Okay.
it is a Alpha Stelvio Quadrifoglio. It is going to have.
Ooh.
This is probably where I'm going to. Actually, no. I could use a transmission in
Redraw the
this.
line.
So
Okay.
these use the 8 HPs from the factory, but
Yep.
I believe the 8 HP 45 or something along the lines of that. So it might not be as strong. So I'll probably
Mhm.
use an 8 HP 70, whatever it may be,
Mhm.
and make it all-wheel drive. And what I'll do is I'll put the Ferrari twin turbo V8 in there. Since this came with a twin turbo V6, which is basically this motor but chopped out 2 cylinders, why not just add the extra 2 cylinders? And that's gonna be my sleeper SUV, quote unquote. It's gonna have
That's a unique build.
it's gonna have a it's gonna have like Magna Ride suspension. The brakes I think are fine on it because they're plenty big and they have plenty of bite. I don't know if I'll. The only thing is, I don't know if I want to go with the wet sump version of this F154, or if I want to go with the dry sump version and just leave the tank at like the bottom type ordeal. But it's definitely going to have this engine. I'm gonna
Hmm.
put it up. The earlier model of these had turbo failures, so obviously the first thing I'm gonna do is just throw a set of pure turbos in there and just get that over
Hmm.
with. That'll be done. It'll be. I think will probably be pretty reliable as far as these twin turbo V8s go. But it'll be one of these and an Alpha Stelvio Quadrifoglio. That'll be my sleeper SUV with the 8 HP
I mean,
70 all-wheel drive, the whole shebang.
I'm actually blown away by that
Making
because you know
making a
what?
1,000 horse.
Blown away by that because you know what? But this actually worked because I call this like a half SUV, half car. Like I really want to call this an SUV,
It's technically
but
an
you know what?
SUV by full size, by mid-size standards. By mid-size, it's not a.
True that.
I wouldn't
But
call it a
yeah,
full-size SUV like your QX80 and shit like that.
yeah.
Even the newer Forerunners or Sequoias, those are more full size now. This is more of a mid size. It's not even compact. It's just like a mid size. It's like a BMW X4, the Italian version almost. How it like has that weird hatch style going for it. It's not a full. It's like it's in between the X3 and X4 because the X3 is like more of a mid full size SUV with an actual hatch. This has an actual hatch, but the body style is more like an X4, so it's like a weird hybrid in between them.
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
But yeah,
Hmm.
that's my
I see.
second build. That's my
This this
SUV build.
this I would respect that. I respect that build, and that's actually a quite unique and interesting build. That would be something that would turn heads, and honestly, it would be like you using all OEM parts. So it should actually work. It'd be something
Because
relatively simple to bring to life.
if you look at the Ferrari F154 like a twin turbo flat plane V8, You're charting besides the cylinder bore being 86 versus like McLaren's 93 millimeter bore where it's severely over square. You're in that charted territory of like McLaren, like S thing.
Hmm.
It's the only part is instead of an 86.5 millimeter board for the Ferrari, you get a 93 millimeter board for the McLaren. So you get a super
Yeah,
over square engine, and the engine's actually much shorter in a sense. This was a tiny bit taller, not crazy taller, but it has enough stroke to where it will pull the amount of torque, which is perfect. That's what I want.
yeah,
That's why I
yeah.
went with this engine in particular.
No, that's not. That's something like that's impressive. That's impressive. That's actually unique. That's unique enough that I would say, yeah, that would be cool. That if Alpha came out with that, yeah, they could definitely charge 400,000 for an
Oh,
SUV
for
like that.
sure, for sure.
And yes, people might say, oh, they're doing the same thing Dodge did, where they're just giving us a Hellcat version of variant. But hey, that's what it works.
It does. And the best part is like, especially with this setup, everything's facing the
Hmm.
right way. The turbos are facing where they're supposed to. The intakes are facing. They're not going backwards. They're facing where they're supposed to. Everything's facing where it's supposed to.
Yeah,
Because I think the Portofino engine, I believe, is wet sump. I could be. Let me just double check. I could be wrong. I think it is. Because it looks like it has an oil pan. I can't see. I can't tell. I'll have to search it up. But basically, yeah.
yeah.
So what is your build now?
Um,
This is build number 2.
so yes, my other build, I think that's build number three because my first one was the go-kart.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, was it the go? No, no, it wasn't the go-kart. So build number two for me actually. So that's why I was saying it was stuck between a VK swap Q50 or FX, but like now I want to also say obviously build number two for me is a
Waiting to type it
V8
in.
swap.
Yep.
Well, obviously it would be a two, no, one UZ or two UZ. Well, it'd be the
Two
Toyota
UZ is a
V8. So
truck
obviously,
motor. It's heavier. So it'll be one UZ or three
okay,
UZ
so
unless you're going a truck motor.
no, it'd be one UZ or three UZ, and and or maybe a one UR, not a three UR.
Oh, the
Basically,
4.6, the smaller of the brothers.
yeah. So either the 4.6 or the 4.0 or 4.3. You know what I mean? Any one of those motors, just a V8 Toyota, that would go inside a GT86 or a GR86. I don't want an LS swap one. That would be my Toyota Plus, like all
So
Toyota
there are
build.
a couple of builds with this engine, actually, believe it or not.
Yeah. So I
With
wonder.
the 3UZ, the 1UZ is I guess a more popular platform in Australia and New Zealand. They've been doing this quite a while.
Yep. Yep. That's actually my main reason why, because they're the reason why I want a VK swap something and why I want a one UZ swap stuff
I think,
because
yeah,
they take it serious.
HP Academy has their own FRS build, and they have a 1UZ in there. And I think something happened where they got to switch to a 3UZ now, so they're gonna have a more overbore overbore engine because the 1UZ is an 86 by 86, and I think the 3UZ is a 91. Hold on, 3UZ FB specs. Let's see. 91 by 82.5, so they decreased the stroke and upped the bore a lot. So I think they're going that route now. But it's no, I like that. I would like to see one here
Yeah,
too. I would like to see a UZ
that's what I
swapped
would like.
FRS here because I we see it all like over in Aussie and New Zealand and basically around those areas. I've yet to see one over here,
Exactly,
especially
exactly,
one that screams at
and that's why
9,000 RPM like these do. Like these can easily scream high.
exactly, and that's why I want to build a one UZ and a VK because the Aussies have proven that both the one UZ and the VK. in nearly stock form are capable of revving to 8,000 RPM. You know what I
You
mean?
just gotta get that
And so
VVTI version.
exactly, got to get the beefy version. And if you want, obviously reinforce it so you can do it all day, bounce off the limited, so you don't just pop something one day. But yeah, they've proven that just with the right amount of swap parts in there, you can let this motor sing.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah,
that's one of
fucking.
the builds I'd want to do.
No, that'll be. I'll definitely. I'll help you with that. That's probably the only build I'll help you with. Fucking hell. Alrighty.
V8 V8 swap. You won't help me with anything else that's not Toyota, guys. Nothing
Pretty
else.
much, cause like I don't mind doing other engines, but when he doesn't have a clear cut vision, that's when I'm like, all right, nope, I'm not touching it. At least with Toyota engines, I'm just way too familiar with, so it's like, yeah, we can do it, done. Yeah, we can do it, done. Like I'm just that versed in, I guess, Toyota engines. Granted, my
Yep.
pops 30 years in the Toyota business, but still, I just know them way too well. And then my uncle has one 2J swap car and two Supras with 2J, so it's like I'm kind of embedded in the game. Let's say, kind
No,
of
I
embedded.
get you. I get
Alrighty. So my third build, I'm gonna still keep it alpha, but since I'm on the alpha train, it's going to be. Where are you? Yep, it's gonna be a Alpha 4C hill climb style car. So something like along the lines of this, like a force, like a Group 3 car, GR3,
yep.
however they want to call it. That's too small of a wheel. So basically, yeah, like a Group 3 car. I can't really find better pictures of it. Let's say, because you can watch the videos. People put Judd V8s in them. People have Now one person just recently did it. They put a twin turbo Ferrari engine, the F154, in one of these, and this thing just blasts. It's just crazy, crazy to see.
No.
But I would like to grab one of these, put a Group 3 body kit on it, like so, and then put the 690T or the engine that's basically in the Alpha Quadrifoglio in one of those, and do a big single turbo right in the valley of the V,
It'd be nice.
and then just have a blast
It's a
with it.
one big single.
That's exactly what
That'd
I'll
be
do.
nice. It's a light car, light engine.
It's all carbon fiber.
Mm,
You just put one of these,
DR30.
grab one of these, make it like this, whole shebang. I would love one of these. Oh man, just flying, flying.
I like the way they look. I like the way they look. They have a nice look.
OG Alpha baby.
Yeah. Got the eyes, got the mouth. Yeah.
But that's basically what it
You
will
see
be.
it.
It'll be a Group 3. It'll be stripped. Probably will have. I don't know if
It
I'll do a
looks Italian.
cage. I
It
might
just
do.
it looks like sorry.
No, that's
It
fine.
looks Italian. It looks like it has the eyes, it has the nose, it has the
Oh
mustache.
yeah, of course.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll do it. Maybe I'll do a cage. Who knows? But it's definitely keeping the carbon fiber body. I'm definitely doing wider fenders like this, like letting it breathe the whole nine. Like, let me see if I can find. Yeah, so this is a clearer version basically. Just cut, do wider fenders, lower it probably on KWs, do mono two wheels. So basically, like if anyone plays Gran Turismo and played with the Alfa Romeo Group 3 car, basically I want one of those. I'm just gonna let that out there so it's a lot easier to envision,
Yeah.
and then just literally put one of these motors in it. Do like a F1 derivant. So let's see, F1 V6. Yep, it'll basically be turbo right in the middle and smack that in the back right there. Basically, be one of these, not as big, let's say, but it's similar, but in the
Yeah.
690T variant. So I have this engine with a mono scroll turbo right in the back of it, and it'll just be a blast for me.
One big turbo right there. Yeah.
Right smack that in the middle. That's what I
Oh
would
yeah.
want to do.
That'd be
with
perfect.
the
All you need.
equal length runners. You know, it'll be a nice compact package. Transmission will sit right there. Obviously, all the beauty of it.
Yep.
There's a better version of this. Let me see. A Ferrari. I think Ferrari has a better picture of this engine I saw one time. Let's see. Is it right here? No, that's the V8s. Oh yeah, there
Look
you
at
go.
that thing.
That's a better picture. So yep, all running. The exhaust gonna be mounted right here. Have the charge cooler high on top. It'll go right into, the cylinders. Have the air intake right there. Boom.
Damn.
I don't know if I'll do hybrid though. I don't think I'll do hybrid. I just want to hear it naturally aspirated. But yeah, exactly what I do with a nice transaxle transmission, like a sequential. That'll be like my race car. Have high downforce in the front, whole bang. Like I will probably go crazy with the downforce. Like to me, I think this isn't enough. But sometimes it could introduce unwanted drag, so I gotta find the right balance for it, maybe. But yeah,
Yeah.
this is something I would like to do. This will be like the race car, bona fide to
Mm.
the bone. Alrighty,
Mm.
now your turn.
Hmm. No, I know you already know I want to supercharge a VQ, but I don't want to. I don't want
I thought you were gonna
to
say another
waste.
V8. I'm about to say, God damn, how many
Yeah.
V8s are on this
Now,
list?
I know. No, I was gonna say there's something different actually this time, because I already had that 3S GT motor, but I'm just sitting on that for now. Sitting on it.
Mm.
I was thinking, 'cause, I have been offered recently, a Honda, so and it's a K Honda, but not like you think. It's just a CRV. And I said, oh, what more of a better way to get into Hondas than a practical Honda? So
So what is
it
this
would be a
build?
5 speed. It would be a 5 speed, but just turbo, a simple bolt-on turbo, turbo, turbo K.
So a Turbo K CRV is what you're saying.
Hmm.
That wouldn't be half bad.
Hmm.
That would be light as a bastard.
Just keeping it light, and but it already comes with a K. That's the best part about it. So all you need to do is just either
So
build up
this
the
would be more
motor
of a
or
sleeper SUV then.
yeah,
Ah, like my sleeper SUV. Ah, I see what you did there.
it'd be
I
just
see what
something
you
you
did
just
there.
show up and it would really be a sleeper. So like, at least people would think, oh yeah, I'll smoke it,
So
especially the Honda
let's
boys.
keep track of this now because I kind of like that idea. So Honda CRV with Turbo K, and then me is Alpha Stelvio Quad with F154 and 8 HP 75 or 90 whatever.
Oh, all right then. Oh yeah, you can put this Honda Turbo K with um TSX gears or RSX gears. I say TSX gears, so you make it a 6 speed essentially. I watched a
I'm
video of
gonna do
someone taking
RSX. I'm
apart
gonna
the
do
transmission.
RSX trans. Or do you want
Okay.
or do you want tall gears and all-wheel drive? Is that's what you're saying?
Now you said you can put Type S trans. 'Cause Type S would make it a close
So
ratio.
you want it front-wheel drive only?
Nope. Nope. You swapping you take the gears out of the 5 speed. I mean the 5 speed case, the
Oh,
all-wheel drive case.
okay. So I'm gonna do. You know
See,
what? I'll do this.
gear
Since the
gear swap.
RSX is 6 speed, I'll do RSX geared
Gear
all-wheel
swap.
drive trans.
Yeah. Or you can put gear swap, R6 gear swap.
Yeah, that's what I said. RSX geared all-wheel drive. So the next one, which I already just mentioned, is the Alpha 4C GR3 with 690T. Oh shit. Oh. And yours is the FRS
Yeah,
with
GT86.
1UZ. FRS GT86 with 1 UZ or 3 UZ, and that'll be
Yep.
your track. What transmission will that have?
Oh, 8 HP. I'm an 8 speed guy. 8 HP.
8 HP
Because I'm just gonna
trans.
put a virtual clutch and call it a day. So when I want to have my manual fix, I'll pretend taking off with my virtual clutch, and then if not, I'll just put it back in the normal mode and be like, yeah, go back to normal. I'm not feeling manual mode today.
This dude.
But that's the best of both worlds. Like, you know what I mean? Imagine you're just like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna use my fake clutch. And yeah, although you could damage your internal clutches, but it's like, hey, at least it's a computer, so even if you're trying to damage it, it's gonna be like,
And
you're not
then
breaking
your
me.
third build was the Infinity Q50
You can put Q50 slash FX
slash
swap
FX.
because it really was going to be FX. It's just that I've always wanted to build a IS 500 competitor from the Infinity side, but what would be even cooler is because the FX already came with a V8, the FX 50 is if I just took a 37, put a 56 in there, and then just sent it. Send it.
Mine, ma, to you, Baja, to you are GSE with Toyota 8 speed. Yeah. There you go.
Just,
Alrighty. So now yep, that's 3 for 3 so far. That's a pretty nice. I probably have to rearrange it to see the battles and stuff, but that's still a pretty nice lineup so far. All right.
yeah.
So do you want to go for the last two, or should I start with my last two?
Uh, damn, damn.
Because
Me?
I got a
I'll go
couple
ahead.
that I
I'll
know
go
I
real
can.
quick.
You want? Do you want to now? Do you want to fire them off, or do you want to do one by one?
I can fire them off.
You
These,
sure?
these are things that yeah, these are things that I plan on doing. I plan
Okay.
on just trying to have
I'll start with you then. You go ahead and I'll type it down, and we'll
twin
set you
turbo
up.
RAM, twin turbo RAM 426 build
To
with
say 2020 what?
sorry, twin turbo 426.
Oh, with the
Oh,
426 engine.
yeah. So I wanna have it. I want to get a block, maybe a
Four,
dart block, or maybe a dart
that's a Hemi, right?
426.
426 cubic inch Hemi.
Yep, yep. So maybe a dart block specifically, you know what I mean? Because I know they can handle the power, and then I just want to twin turbo it.
What type of what is it? What RAM?
Looking for
Like third
probably a
gen, fourth gen.
fourth gen, probably a fourth gen, and I'd be looking for 1500 plus horsepower. That's what I'd be looking for. My goal would be 1500 plus.
And that obviously has an 8 HP. Is this gonna be like a
Probably 8 HP
Baja twin
90.
turbo build?
This would be a street build.
This is a street build. Jesus.
This would be a street build. This would be just the cruise on the
And
street,
I'm guessing this is
take it to
8
the track.
HP also.
Yep.
All wheel
Probably,
drive or full wheel
probably,
drive selective?
probably 8 HP 90, but it'd be full drive. Full drive stronger than all wheel drive. I would want it to be two wheel drive. And
That's
then when I
crazy.
need the full drive, it could be all wheel drive.
And then now, so
Last,
426 cubic inch Hemi, Dart block, twin turbo, fourth gen Ram, 8 HP 90 four wheel drive street, 1500 horsepower.
yep.
All right, now what's the last one?
Corvette go kart.
Corvette go kart. Any specific generation?
And he's so, and you know what? Preferably C5. I
C5.
wouldn't want to cut up. I wouldn't want to cut up a C6. But if it's a rec, preferably C5, rec C6, or it could be a mint C4 because no one cares about C4s. I'm sorry, C4 people like C4s, but maybe it's a clap box C4 if it's clapped out. So C4 through C6 gen.
No,
I'd make
this
it
is
a go
just
kart.
regular. You just want to strip it, cage it. That's it.
Strip it, cage it, put the lights back on it, and then that way I can still street legally
No
drive it.
power adders. No nothing. Just stripped with stripped. I'm gonna do stripped and street legal. So that
I
way.
would want to add power to it, but for
So
now, you know what I mean, to get the use to the feel, it would just be as it is, just stripped. That way, it's like you're enjoying it for what it is.
let me do this now. Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V. So that way yours has space. Control C. Alrighty. That's a crazy build. I ain't go front.
Yeah, I'd rather just do a nice little Corvette, drive that around. Nobody knows.
That is a crazy like I know street legal like go karts are crazy and shit like that, but fucking damn, that's
Corvettes are
wild.
dangerous. You got fun with the Corvette from the factory, so taking some weight off, some sheet metal. Yeah, I think it'd be much more fun.
Damn, I
Caging
think
it.
the the last two are definitely wild. Granted, the go kart has already been done, but still, just having a go kart V8 car, that's crazy. Like
And, and,
I can
and,
only
and
imagine. Like let's say, I think most of those V8s came what 400 or 500 horsepower. Now you strip it, you're
yeah,
at 1,500 pounds. You're holy shit.
exactly. And that's why, like I said, C5 prefer because if you get a C4, they're really they have less power, maybe on like
So, oh,
260.
so you still have the
Then
like the 5.7 LS1 and all. Okay, I see what you're saying.
or LT1, yeah, or you have the LT motor. So like if with a C4, I'd have to build it. I'd almost have to. I'd almost be inclined to truck motor swap it.
Fucking hell.
C4 would get like a 6.0, 6.2 swap out of a Denali or Escalade or a work truck. Um, C5 and C6 would just get built because they came with the LS.
All right. So my last two will be the JZA 90 or the what is it? The BMW Supra with the G16E GTS engine, full on like what is it called? Full on Group 3, three
Yep.
like build, body build or whatever may be. The only problem I have is transmission. Do I want to go with like because these things don't make a lot of torque, so I can probably get away with the lighter like 8 HP 45. Do I go like
Yeah.
a 6 speed manual, or do I find like a Corvette trans and put it in the back for a better weight distribution? So with
Hmm.
this one, I might go the Corvette 6 speed manual and have like a transaxle style transmission. So when you do
That'd
that
be
go
cool.
kart, give me that trans.
Yeah, like here you go. You can have this. Like take this. Well, well, well. What if I keep it manual though? Ah, man, that would be fun though. What
That
if
would
I was manual? See, I wonder now. I wonder. I'm probably just gonna end up using a Audi style transmission and throwing it on the back and just capping the rear tail shaft, not send power anywhere, and yeah, that's it. I'll probably just do it like that.
yeah
Cap the rear
JZA
tail shaft.
90. That's the 3 cylinder. It'll probably make around like 600 horse. You know, big turbo, all that stuff. So let me do
Yeah,
that.
that'd be cool. It'd be nice and light. Weights.
It'll be like a group three.
Gotta
So
keep
I
the
have the
weight down.
pictures here for it. Let me go. Where is it? 3Z. Is it here? No, not this one. Yeah, so it's this one. Inspired somewhat by the LFR in a sense. Now that they're bringing back the roadster with the twin turbo V8. So it's gonna be obviously one of these, like a racing style racing variant with dry up all that stuff, and then a Group Three
Yep.
like this, which I'll definitely like to see, because Gazoo Racing has a concept of it. Once the website pulls up, just like that, perfect.
I see. Yeah.
Oh, I'll definitely want one of these, and
It's
just put
definitely like they nailed the design for sure.
yes and
The
no.
design over time is
What
growing
pisses
on
me
is
off
growing on me.
what pisses me off is they call it a Supra when it's really like FT1, Toyota FT1 program style thing. That's the only part that I
Yeah, I
don't like
know.
about it. But other than that,
You're right. You're right. You're right. Because yeah, and then people, oh, they should call this a Supra, and then they did. And now it's like, design doesn't really pay too much homage.
well, when you tell them the whole entire chassis and skeleton is based off of BMW, like now you kind of took away its essence of FT. You know,
Yeah,
like I would definitely do something like this: big turbo, spool to 500, all the shebang. I'll definitely do something
yeah.
like that. The Corvette, I'm pretty sure those Corvette 6Bs are light as shit. So I don't know if I'll do a trans tunnel or I'll just reinforce the chassis and that for the fact that I could just run a tube like the GTRs. That's the only thing I
Yeah.
don't know which way I'll do, but I know it will definitely have these things. And suspension will probably be KWs because as much as I want to convert it to double wishbone, I think I can make way with whatever this is. Matter of fact, yeah, fuck it. I'll convert it to double wishbone
Yeah. That's all you
in
need.
the front. In the front, multi rank in the rear. I'll deal with that. And then last but not least, it'll be
Let's see. Wow. Okay.
it'll be for an F50 inspired GT1 with a Ferrari F140 base style V10. And for people who don't know what that GT1 looked like back then, let me just pull it up for y'all real quick. Since it's inspired more likely by the Lincoln Continental, I was like, Miles, and this is also inspired by Stanceworks F40, and since he's bringing back the LM style and then the 244 GTK, I would like to do something like this and basically build my own car, like a
Uh,
GT1, something like this with the F140 engine, but like chop out the two cylinders and make a V10. The only problem is I will have to do a custom block, but I would. It's the V10's inspired somewhat by the Lincoln Continental build, and then the GT1 is just inspired by the 244 GTK and now the F40. So it'll be like a good blend of both in a sense.
Modern mechs. Blend some of the old with the new.
Yeah, and I'll probably have some type of like dual clutch trans with that so that I could like street drive it. So
Yeah, you still want to be able to take it down the
it'll be
street.
like a Lamborghini like Audi, but I don't like the way those although I don't mind those DCTs and the way they look. I want the gear set more in front than behind that axle line. So it'll be one of those.
Hmm.
But it'll be double wishbone, everything exactly the way the F50 was. And if a solid contender with this will be actually no, I'll leave it like that, and I'm gonna save that for a little later. but that'll be my five, and that is your five. So let's see which one. I think so. The Ram and the Alpha will be competitors for sure. Your
Oh yeah.
Ram and my Alpha. So let's do this. Let's do. That's definitely a competitor for sure. What else will be a competitor here?
Um, put the CRV against the Tacoma because I'd probably lift it eventually and make it like a funny like off-road little thing. Top one.
CRV. So that'll
Yeah,
be. Let me do that, and I'll
it's
do
two,
that.
third gen, three. Yeah.
You'll
The
make
four
wait. You'll make the
C.
CRV like a Baja, like Papadakis's Rav Four.
Yep,
Oh, that shit
yep,
will be wild. That would be a nice. Yeah, that would be nice. I would like to
yeah.
see that. That'll actually be
That way it's
close.
light.
That'll be a close
'Cause that would
competition.
be light. Because it'd be light. You can actually take it on like a little jump, put the suspension right, and
Yeah.
then
Although mine's
it's not
somewhat a
gonna
little heavier, it will have the V8 and all that stuff, but you will have better weight. Yeah, that will actually be a nice competition right there.
be light. Light,
Now,
little Baja build.
let's see here.
Your Alpha 4C and my GT86. Actually, would that or would that be the would
I'm
yeah,
surprised because our build lists are pretty close. Besides your cart,
yeah, exactly. Because then yeah, 'cause my FRS would be I'd say
I
what
think
is
your
it?
Infinity Q50 would battle it
Be
out.
close to
Will probably battle it
the
out
Supra.
with my Supra. Yeah,
Yeah, because closer in size. Because if you had a Q50, a QX60 or Q60 or something like that, yeah.
and then
And
the FRS. That's hard. Cause
oh, the Rec Corvette is going against your F50.
yeah, okay. I thought the same thing too. I thought it was gonna be a harder
The
sell.
reason why I say that, because if it was a C8 or if I found the Rec C8, it'd literally be a fake Ferrari. I'd just put sheet metal from a Ferrari on there.
This dude.
I'd make it look like a Ferrari. Just
So let's
yeah.
do that.
Actually funny. Imagine if someone bought a Rec C8 Corvette, took all fiberglass Ferrari body panels, put Ferrari lights on it, just to drive around and troll people.
So there we go. That will be wild. So the Alpha Stelvio Quad F154 8 HP 90 all-wheel drive. More likely it'll make 1100 horse because unless the turbo starts pulling like crazy. No, actually I think it'll make 1,000 tops. Let's say. You're a 426 Hemi Dart, so you will be a lot heavier, but you still have a lot more power. So that will be a good matchup. You probably walk me. We both have the same trans, which is awesome, but you probably
Yeah,
walk me. The FRS with the 1UZ 8 HP trans versus the Alpha 4C with the 690 sequential single turbo. That'll be another good battle because they both will be around. Depending on how you build the
similar
UZ, you
weight.
could build it for 500 horsepower naturally aspirated. I'm probably gonna be looking for 500 to 600 naturally aspirated, so that will also be another good battle. That'll be more of a circuit track style build, but they will more likely be pretty even. So
Yeah.
that is more
If you
undecided.
turbo, I'd have to turbo.
Yeah, but you can do 500 naturally aspirated. If you're doing a turbo at that point, yeah, you're walking me. So if you do the turbo, you're walking me. But I don't know if you mentioned the turbo or not with the one UZ3
No,
UZ.
no, no, no turbo. Just for nice high revs.
I will say that will be a tie. Number two.
Yeah.
Number one, you definitely got me. Number two will be a tie. Now, the third one is also going to be a hard sell because you have weight in your factor with a Turbo
Hmm.
K, which can make 500 horsepower untouched, basically, without cracking the block. It can make 500 reliable. and then my 2UR will already be 500, but with the supercharger twin screw, it'll probably be around 700, 750 with the Toyota 8-speed all-wheel drive. But I got a lot of weight, so you'll be significantly
Yeah,
lighter the CRV because I think the CRV is what CRV
31, 3,200 pounds.
CRV weight. Yeah, so
Do
33 to 3600, and then third gen Tacoma.
so. Yeah, I would say if you do CRV, you could put like, yeah,
So I
it'd
have
be
a
it'd even
thousand
be lighter.
pounds on you basically,
Yeah,
and that's not including stripping or doing any other stuff. So I already have 1,000 pounds on you, and I'm only making two, possibly 300 horsepower more. That's I think you might walk me just. I will only get you
it's
depending on
light.
now. This is more of a track situation where if it's woods dirt, I might get you. If it's sand, you more likely will get me. So that'll be a more of a race style situation. But I feel like overall you
Yeah,
might beat me more. I might get you just
inspiration.
because of raw torque, but you might. Ah, that's hard.
ins- Inspiration for this build because I wanted the 3S GTE RAV4, but a turbo CRV doesn't sound bad either.
Plus, it's a lot. The K series motor is like 200 pounds soaking wet, so you already have weight for you in that factor.
Yeah,
So,
it's already like right there. And then imagine stripping away, unnecessary things like the table that comes in the back.
oh yeah, like I will have to strip. I have to strip a lot of weight too. So I could probably shave off like 600, but you can probably strip off just about that much. So it's like that'll be hard.
Yeah,
I feel like I would only win if it comes to torque application, like because of just the not just because of just as a V8. But
yeah,
weight plays a big factor, especially
and
with rallies
and
that
it's not like,
involve sand.
and also it's not just any other turbo K. Remember, CRV's all-wheel drive, so it's like I
Exactly.
like all those K hatches that you see take off at a light. It's just
Yeah.
gonna want to go.
So this will be if your suspension is limited. Like my suspension is more free flowing, and that's I guess my only advantage. That and the fact that I
Yeah,
have a V8. Those are the only two things I have for my advantage. You have weight. You have weight. I think power to weight ratio will be one of them. You have lightness in that factor, in the fact that you have a turbocharger will be another aspect, and especially you can run skinnier wheels because of the wheelbase. So
yeah,
I'll give it to you slightly because of those factors. Like weight goes a long way. I could strip a lot, but mm, that's hard.
yeah. No, it
That's
definitely
hard.
is. It's like,
But so
hmm,
right now it's 2 for 1 U, and then let's see the Infinity Q50 slash FX with the VK supercharged 8 HP versus my 3-cylinder Supra with double wishbone front suspension. You already come with double wishbone front, which is cool. I will
yeah.
have the Corvette transaxle style transmission. You will have 8 HP, so you'll be shifting faster. I would more likely be lighter. Hmm.
Definitely would be lighter,
But you'll be quicker
but
shifting, probably.
quicker shifting, and I probably, hopefully, would be making about the same horsepower.
Probably, because mine will be 5 to 600. You will probably just be touching like 550, let's say supercharged, maybe with like what, 6, 7 psi.
Yeah, so if I'm like I want to send it
And then
and not lose.
this will be where weight plays a factor. You will have faster shifting, but you'll be heavier.
Yeah, not if I strip the Q50, but then
So will this be a street build then, or will this be like?
oh, it'd be a street build, but like it'd be weight, definitely weight reduction.
Because
3,700 pounds.
the Supra's already
Q50
somewhat light when you
Super, how much
strip it.
Super weigh? How much does it weigh? Because the Q50 weighs about 3,700 pounds to 4,000.
Let's see. JZA 90 Supra Wait.
And someone said he dynoed a Q50, and he said that he 100 pounds, and they said it's supposed to weigh. Um, uh,
So the four-cylinder version of the GR Supra is 3,100 pounds. That's the four-cylinder version. So I'm losing a cylinder, but obviously but it's turbo and all that stuff, so it's somewhat similar in a sense. So let's say I lose another 50 just because I'm losing the one cylinder and stuff. 50 to 100, let's say, not even. And then
yeah,
I'm taking away the 8 HP trans, which that will save me a good amount of weight for the lighter Corvette C6, which, let me see, Supra transmission. I like how we're going all sciencey about it now.
yeah, we're like looking into like,
We know it's heavier than. Hmm.
oh, some of that website not loading. Damn.
What's the 88? Let me do this. 8 HP. 192
Damn.
pounds. Corvette. Let's say C6 manual.
And they added weight. Okay, interesting.
So Corvette transmission. Come on. Core charge. So 100, 120, 100 to 125. So I
Yeah.
lose another 100 or 80 with a 6 speed. That's not including the diff. That's not including all the other stuff. It's just a trans. So I might edge out. Maybe.
No, you probably would edge out. You probably would edge out because it'd be light if you're making that much power. Like the
Yeah.
only thing that I would have going for me is if I can
That fast
the
shifting.
torque and the torque.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'd be banking on is launching,
Hopefully
and
you
you would
get
launch
grip
too.
without peeling out too.
I was gonna say because of the torque, I'd probably peel out, so I probably would lose. That would be hard.
So now we're 2 for 2 then, and it comes down to the final one, which is I think you're just gonna win because you're just gonna be overall lighter.
Nah, but yeah, but I was gonna say you're gonna win because you have a better platform and motor and package. Like me,
Yeah, but
I might have just
you see what happened with Cletus McFarland's, yo. Like that cart does eights, like sevens with no body.
yeah. But see, but you're gonna have an F50 inspired GT1 with a Ferrari F140 base V10.
Naturally
That
aspirated, yeah, with DCT trans.
you would win. You'd win. I'd have to do like I can't see how mine just says Ret Corvette go kart strip. I didn't say not anything done. So if I
Yeah,
was
but
gonna
all
do
right.
stuff to it,
You know what? Let's do it like this then, because I could probably get down to your weight, but let's just see. Um, Corvette go kart weight 2,100 to 2,250 pounds.
wow,
That's what I'm saying. Like, dude.
wow. The C5 1700, the C4 21.
Well, C5 is you
Wow.
if you're doing mid-engine open wheeler. If you it's not the actual regular where the engine sits in the
Oh,
front, trans in the back. It's a
yeah. I
custom
see.
tube thing. But stripped down and modified, 2,100 to
Probably
2,250
yeah. I'm gonna say
pounds.
21. Yeah. Wow.
So for me to do that, like let's say Ferrari F50, wait. So I have to shave another 500. You see what I'm saying? And then you got, I mean, yes, I so this actually will probably come down to the wire. I didn't know it weighed that light.
I don't know.
This is dry weight too. This is not, weight with fuel or anything like that. This is dry weight. So I'll have to find a way. I'll probably have to make a carbon fiber, if not like a tubular chassis, and find a way to shave that much pounds. But I will shave 2 cylinders, and I will have a DCT trans versus whatever this comes with,
Hmm.
and then it will just be light as hell because it's all. I'm gonna try to go carbon fiber because it's gonna be GT1 inspired, even if it's not the F50. Like it was just even doing the F40. That's still.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm still so that's 300 pounds lighter. The F40, you know.
yeah,
So it would just be hard over. I'll have a harder time getting to your weight, but for the power, depending on how much power you have, that also plays a big factor. You know. So
yeah,
this is almost deadlock even. I think I might edge out because I have a DCT trans. I don't know what trans you will have.
yeah.
That'll be the deciding factor. What trans you have.
If it's a go-kart, I better hope it don't have a four-speed auto
Exactly.
for the
That will
factory.
come down to the car you get wrecked.
Yeah, and if it comes with a four-speed auto, I'm chopped. If it has a manual, no, I'll be in there.
You might have a chance to beat me even if I build that.
Not a fighting chance.
That'll be a crazy lineup now that I think about it.
Yeah, it'd be like one is like one extreme, the other one's on the other extreme.
But it's
Like,
like
whoa.
but you see the bills and you see how different they are. But you see how different they are. But then when you think about it, you see how more even they're matched.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, and it
Yep.
all comes down to a lot of just more factors than none.
Yep.
Like whether
And
you
it's
have
like,
more
and you
power or
can
less
build.
power, whether you have more weight or less weight, whether you have a better shift in trans or not, whether it transfers torque differently or not, whether like it's all-wheel drive, where like
Yeah.
we just have a lot more factors.
Yeah.
That's a
Exactly.
wild
And
list.
gearing, even gearing factors, and
Like even though you
that's the
have
whole
a
reason.
heavier Dart 426 twin turbo Hemi, you're more likely will get me just because you have the extra power. Granted, you weigh a lot more. Then when you come to the Alpha 4C and the FRS, you can easily do 500 horsepower naturally aspirated, so yours will be quick and responsive, and I will have the turbo. But it's the fact that I'll have a sequential trans. I might get you depending on certain situations. So it literally comes down to every little detail, which is interesting.
Hmm. And even then, the AHP is almost as fast as sequential. So it's like,
Exactly. So it's like then you come down to that, and then you have the 6 speed all-wheel drive Honda versus my Baja, Tacoma. You might edge out just because you're a lot lighter. You're a shit ton lighter, and that's
yeah,
more. That's the only reason why you edge out is based. Now we're talking about external
wait,
external differences like tracks, like where they're on dirt, on sand. It's not even the fact that we're
yeah,
talking about the cars now. We're talking about where they're going to be applied. So now it's just coming down to the wire more and more and more.
yeah,
The Infinity in the Supra I thought was going to be closer, but it might be a little different based on just weight and like a V. You
yeah,
have initial torque, but then to get that to hook up will be harder for you, and then it will come down to the wire at fifth. So the closest ones I think was the F50 versus the C5, the Stelvio versus the Ram, and
and the CRV in
in the
Tacoma.
CRV versus Tacoma, and the I think the CRV at Tacoma is the closest because that's track based now. That's not even the fact that it's cars versus each other.
Yeah.
Holy shit! See, we're different, but we think alike. I see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ!
Think alike, think alike. You know, I want the same outcome, but then I'm like, how can I achieve that outcome a little differently and on a
But it's
budget?
vastly different because like I got two alphas. You got
Yeah.
you got a C5 and a Ram, and
Yeah.
then if we go like,
The Honda.
and then I got two Toyotas, and then you got Infinity and Honda, and FRS, and then I just got
Got one Toyota,
my
yeah,
one. So I got three Italians technically and two Japanese. You got
yeah,
two Americans and three Japanese. So you
yeah.
think more American, like I think more like Italian, I guess Japanese, like, but we're kind of
hmm
like dead
But
hooked.
I like my Japanese cars. I got my
I
two
love them too.
American brutes.
I love them too. Don't
But
get me wrong. Like I'll be diehard Japanese fan, but I can't ignore what the Italians did.
if Ford didn't annoy me, they would be on this list.
You know what I
Like, don't get me
find
wrong, the
you
Coyote's nice,
you
but
know what I find
I don't get
interesting though. We both didn't choose a German, but we chose the German transmission.
Oh, because Germans make good transmissions. Let me just say that.
Like
The motors,
we didn't
some are
choose
hit
like
or
a
miss.
Porsche. We didn't choose like like a BMW. We didn't choose an Audi, like a DTM build. None of that.
Because they're cool, but they don't last. And people come like, what do you mean they don't last? They're cool. They make power. They're cool and they're revolutionary for the time. But you know what I mean? We want something that you can last, take to the track and last, not take to the track. Okay, got to strip it down and rebuild it
But
in order to get that same
think they
performance.
last though, depending on like what you build. You don't think they last?
Depending on what you build, they do last. But it's like for example, me just finding out like that all the twin turbo Benzes, like the 4.7s and 5.5s, have like a cylinder scoring issue, oil leaks, and
Mm-hmm.
computer failure
Yeah.
recently has been like the most like I'm gonna call it. I'm happy I never bought the car because I'd be having a nightmare right now because you know what I mean. I'm thinking they never had these issues beforehand, so why would they develop these issues now?
Of
And
course.
then all of a sudden now they had those issues where before at least the previous motor was just the cam issue or the M1 was the M156. No, yeah, the 6.3
The 6.2 where they had
M1
the you mean the lifter
6.2.
issue
Yeah,
where the
yeah, the
DLC
lift issue.
coded the buckets when they
Yeah,
would
yeah,
warp out.
exactly. Like at least I said, okay, that's something that you can fix and you're on your way. But for the newer ones, the 4.7, 550 motors and the 5.5, 6.3 motors after those years, to have like actual actual engine failure issues
Yeah,
where like
that's true.
your cylinder gets scored and like you're burning oil to the point where you can't control it or oil leaks on one component and it kills your computer.
I
That's not like
in
the
that
safest.
sense, I guess I agree with you. I guess the only good Mercedes engine V8 after the M156 is the 4-liter twin turbo
4.0.
hot V. So like
Yes,
it took
that
them a
and
while. So I think I agree with what you're saying then.
literally everybody's been like, hey, skip these years and go right to 2018 and get the 4.0. Because you will have less headache than all these other
And if you
AMGs. Like,
want
yes, they
something
sound
new,
nice.
you'll get that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly, exactly. Because I mean, other than that, otherwise you have to go old. You have to either get 6.3 or older, which is going to have the 5.5 supercharge, which is one of my
Yeah, the
favorites.
M113K, which
Which
you like.
I'll be honest, that was supposed to make it on this list, which was going to be a Chrysler Crossfire M113K swap, but it didn't make the cut.
So
That's something that
I don't know about you, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but I have two honorable mentions.
ah
Do you have
okay.
any? If you don't, then I won't mention my honorable mentions.
My honorable mentions are, like I said, the Chrysler Crossfire M113K.
Mm.
That would be a very, very nice build. Would love to do that. Something different.
Yeah.
Gonna drive that around. And my other honorable mention is a Fox body with a 5.0 swap. Simple.
All right,
Just
honorable
simple.
mentions. So you said Crossfire with,
Crossfire M113K swap.
and then a Fox body,
And Fox body with the five. It basically would be the whole thing, like Fox body with the 5.0
Coyote.
and yeah, Coyote. I was trying to think of any other Fords that I'd swap it in. You know what I mean? But like, other than the Fox body, which is like one of their light cars and came rear wheel drive, there's nothing else. Like, yeah, I could probably do it in an Explorer or a Ranger, but those like old Explorers don't handle good.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, those old Explorers don't really handle.
And yeah, it'd be like
Okay,
a wet noodle going down the road. And then I could do a Mark 7, but I'd rather just do a Fox body because lighter. Mark 7 is gonna be heavier.
so one of my honorable mentions is a 560 SEC Mercedes with either the M156 or the M120 V12 swap with a 6-speed manual.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It'll be probably in 1989, 1990, all blacked out with sleek bumpers and stuff. Oh man, I would definitely like one of those. Either hear just a growl of a V8 or the high pitch of a V12. And
Oh
then
yeah.
what will be I damn, I just thought about it too and I completely forgot cuz you were mentioning the what were you mentioning before the Crossfire?
Oh, yeah. For the Crossfire, it wasn't no, was it Ford?
I
No,
had
no,
it in my head and now I completely forgot.
it wasn't Dodge. It was a Honda, Toyota. Wasn't the
Damn.
3S.
I had one in my head. Shit.
Wasn't BMW. Wasn't Porsche. Wasn't Mercedes.
Nah.
Mercedes. No, Audi. Audi. No, it wasn't Audi.
Well, basically it'll be two chassis F1 car with oh what
Oh,
with
ooh.
F136 4.5 Ferrari V8. I know I had one different, but that's one I would definitely like to do.
Hmm. The only thing I would add is both that. Well, the Crossfire would have an 8 speed swap, and the Fox body would be a 10 speed. Just
You
because
would go the Ford.
it'd be all Ford, so then people look at it. It'd just be a modern interpretation. It'd be like that Mustang I sent you, where the guy swapped the whole dashboard inside of it,
Jesus
the whole
Christ,
interior. It would
that'll
just
be
be the whole
nice.
interior.
That'll be nice. I like to see one of those live just to get a visual.
Yeah, like so everything it'll be everything retrofitted in. So it's like this is a new car, just fit into an old car, and everything's light. Like yeah, some modules might have to be relocated to the trunk and stuff like that. Like wires might have to be extended.
So, judging by this case, the Ford versus Mercedes, you're smacking me for sure. And the F1 car with the Crossfire, I'm smacking you for sure. Just because I'll
Yeah,
probably like 1,000 pounds soaking wet.
yeah. And the crossbar is like 3,200 pounds.
Jesus Christ. I forgot it was that heavy but that
Supercharged.
light for a coupe.
Supercharged. Supercharged.
Yeah.
The only reason why I wanted one, only reason why I want one, is because at one point, um, it was hard to find a Nissan 350Z, and for some reason, crossfires were everywhere, and they were cheap. So yeah, curb weight 3,000 pounds.
Yeah. So, yeah, you definitely smack me. Because I'll stroke my M156 to 7 liters so I could get my dual overhead cam 7 liter, but you'll still smack me. Just because you have a smaller V8 and you have a smaller, higher screaming V8, but at the same time with a 10 speed. So you're smacking me for sure. Because I've driven a Coyote 10 speed Mustang, like the newer ones, and that thing. Although I don't like the way second and third shifts, that thing is bullet fast. So you're smacking me for sure, regardless if I have a board and stroke 7 liter or if I have the M120 6 liter V12.
You know what's funny? I just thought about that because everybody says this about Fords, and you know what? How about this? Let me ask you a question about the shifting
Yeah.
because I've seen it in videos and everybody complains about it. Does it seem like when it shifts between second and third, does it seem like a flare? Is that why you don't like it?
Wait, me describe flare.
Like, does it seem like okay? when it shifts, it's like, first, second. Like, does it sound like the second, the third is like, and then
Like
it sounds like it kind of like carries on, like it doesn't sound like a normal shift or feel like a normal shift.
it goes
Does it like stutter?
and it goes click and then it goes and then when you try to shift it goes click and you go third and then it goes and then go fourth and then once fourth happens everything's just smooth after. So second and third
Yeah.
they weirdly like either the TC doesn't know what it's doing or it doesn't know how to
Nah,
shift intermittently.
that's Ford. That's Ford. That's honestly so. It's gonna sound hilarious. And it sounds hilarious to me because every single Ford that I've sat in
Mm-hmm.
that's had like the 5 speed, like I when my Lincoln had the 5 speed, both my Lincoln and Mercury Mountaineer. First was always a normal gear change. Second to third was always like this like shorter ratio for acceleration while you're driving through the city
Yeah.
type of ordeal. And it seems like they still kept that like mentality, like because like even with the 6 speeds autos, I was inside one of someone I was is an Uber car, so it's like a Explorer. But when he was driving, I could feel it. The first, the second, the third is always still like a quick little
Mm-hmm.
like just to kind of keep it in the power. And so it sounds like to me that Ford hasn't learned from the 6 speed because I was like they just went right to the 10 speed, and it seems like they just kept that in. Like they probably told GM, hey, or maybe in their logic they incorporate that shift to be like that, and on the GM side it's a little bit more, less pronounced. Get what I'm saying?
I get you. I get you. Alrighty.
Yeah,
That's a nice build list. I like how they're vastly different, yet they can be competitive really well close to each other by like the finest of margins to the point where it's not just the build, it's the tarmac or the conditions of the race if it was a race.
yeah.
I do
And
like that a lot.
let me save this list. Let me save this list. I screenshotted it. There we go. To save it because this is stuff I want to make happen. Happen. So
the what I want to make happen for sure now that I'm getting an engine because it's getting warranted is that 690T Alpha 4C. The Unless I have $40,000 for an F-154 used engine, I'm probably not gonna do the Stelvio quad. The third gen Tacoma Baja more likely can happen.
that can
I'm not
happen.
I'm not paying $50,000 for a Supra, so I don't know if that will happen. And
Yeah,
then
it's a lot of money.
the fifth one will be more of a homage project, and I'm already working on a V10. I just don't have a DCT trans or anything to fucking learn how to do the F50 GT1 in a sense.
Yeah.
Yours seems way more doable. One
Slowly.
through five.
The Hemi right now, I have a baby Hemi, so
Yeah,
I could twin
because
turbo it. I have a third gen.
the dart block is expensive, but everything else seems doable. And the 8 HP
Yeah,
90 is expensive, but everything else
yeah.
seems doable. The
And the
FRS
funny
one
thing is
UZ with the 8 speed definitely doable.
doable.
I could see you buying literally a $2,000 body with a $500 one UZ and finding like your 8 HP trans that you found for that much money. I could see you doing that all
Yep.
day and keeping the rear diff, keeping all that, just having a TC controller like that's easily doable. This I'm not
Yeah.
even gonna bother entertaining because I you could find it in a junkyard and just put a turbo on it and find a gear set. The Infinity
No,
might be the Infinity
that might be
might be
tough.
your hardest one.
Yeah. No, it would
That
be the hardest one.
that
They
would
do
be the
have
hardest one.
adapters now for the transmission, but it would be figuring out how to get the engine, the torque. But honestly, how I know it's doable, I would just run an M56 computer and harness.
It's not just the fact that you have to get the engine to work and fit. It's also the fact that you get the transmission to work and fit at the same time. So that might be your hardest one out of all of it. The only reason why the truck will
Yeah.
be harder is because you have to source out a dart block, which is money, and you have to find an 8 HP 90, which is money, because that's too
Yep.
new of a transmission. So 1 and 4 are your hardest ones. Everything else is, especially the CRV, is stupid doable. The
Yeah.
CRV you got me on all day.
Oh yeah.
And then
Oh yeah. It does go.
between the honorable mentions, the Fox mod, especially with the Mustang interior, might be harder for you. The two
Yeah.
chassis
Fit
F1
everything.
car, I have to fabricate, so that'll be That'll just be time. That'll be time I'll have gone from my existence. The Crossfire M113 K swap, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of similarities between them. So I
It's
don't.
a Mercedes technically, so we both got Mercedes. I just have a Mercedes and no scolding.
Yeah, I have a 560 SAC, which in decent condition is $30,000, and it's the fact that I could find an M130 engine for 4,000, but for some reason M156 is like 7, and I have to stroke it out to 7 liters. So that'll be more of a passion slash build style project, or just get parts for an M120 and have it revving like a Pagani Zonda. And then a 6-speed manual. I'll just grab like a T56, something cheap, T56, nothing crazy, just something that it can work with the power brand depending on the engine I'm going with. So like if it's an M120, I might need a little bit of a tall gear set so it can just rev higher. If it's an M156, it has a broad power band. I don't need a high revving style gear set. I could have a shorter gear set to where it just snaps all over the place. But your
All I
list
need
is
is
doable for sure. A lot more doable than
all
mine.
I need is a nice yep, Rex M113 or E55 or CL55 or something S55.
Mm.
And throw that in the crossfire. Should bolt right up, plug right into the computer. Or might need some modification, of course, because 6 cylinder versus eight. But yeah, transmission should bolt right up.
Fucking hell. That's a nice list though. I like your list only because it's just a lot more affordable. I
Like
will have to come out of luck. I mean, luckily I got lucky with the engine, but I'll still have to come out of luck for a lot of stuff.
well, that engine's gonna go lovely into something.
Oh, a 4C for sure. If I find one for less than
Miata.
50 grand, which is hard. Oh, Miata,
Just saying. A little Miata, you basically build the Alpha, what is it, the 124 Spider?
in a sense, the 4C with the Group 3 and all that stuff. So like, out of all of them, unless I find the F154 engine and end up working for Ferrari later on in life and getting one of these, I can probably make this happen. Possibly make that happen, but sequential chance will be money. So out of all
Yeah.
of them, this and the Tacoma more likely will happen for sure. And unless I find a crash Supra, this could also happen also. But this is
Oh
more
yeah.
of the what ifs. Yours is doable. There's no what ifs in between it.
Oh
Like
yeah.
like how I told you, I got lucky with this engine, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Worth it all day.
I'm about to just start
Rain
doing.
free engines.
I'm about to just start doing your bills instead of mine because they just are more affordable.
That's all right. I might be sending a rec C5 your way.
No, thank you.
Oh, all right. It'll just be storage.
Yeah, storage my ass.
Like yeah, ripped off that bumper, rip off that fender. Yeah, okay, I'll be down there.
Alrighty, that was a fun one.
Yeah, different format,
It's,
different format.
I liked it though because it got us brainstorming. Like we just and it's so interesting how we think vastly different, but when it came down to like let's say lining them up, it's
Mhm.
like close in a lot of scenarios. Like I said earlier, it's not
Mhm.
just close as far as how it's built, it's also close as far as track conditions or what it's gonna be raced on. So it's just
Yeah,
that's interesting. I like that. Like we far off, but we pretty close.
yeah, come out the gate swinging. We want to achieve the same thing. We're achieving the same thing. Win, victory. First on race day, but we're not in the Ford. I don't want to be no Ford. I don't want you want unless it's a Mustang. You ain't catching me in no Ford.
Unless it's a
And it has
Fox
to have a
body.
Coyote, Fox body, and probably with a Coyote swap all day.
But all right, we are your host, Sir Rod and Sir Black with the double peace signs up top. That's not doing
Hmm.
the active little celebrations.
It's not doing nothing. That's okay.
Oh, there it is.
All right, we here. Here we go. There we go.
Alrighty. We'll catch you on the next one, guys.